Wait. Does that track have a cowbell? Is that a cowbell? I like cowbells. Give me a second. Let me turn that down a little bit so you can actually understand me. Let's do that. And then let's switch the scenes. And there we go. Yo, what's going on? Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Wish you all a beautiful Wednesday, ladies and gentle frames. It's that time again. It's the halfway point of the week. Who we got here? We have JDSP, Gilded Revenant, Dystopia. Welcome, Cephalon Billy. Welcome, Corey. Welcome, who else we got? Welcome, 8Bullet. Welcome, everybody. How's it going? Streams are up. Are we up on YouTube and on Twitch? I think so far, no complaints, so that's good. Support guy, good to see you, Mr. Akaraman. Yo, was good. Welcome. Beatless as well. Booksy Leo, good to see you too. Kids, nice that you made it as well. Good to see you all. You got right now 1 hour and 50 minutes on the Viri farming puzzles. So you mean you have all the decrees, April? That's pretty cool, right? Quite a lot of decrees going on there. Mr. Yo, happy to see you too. Black Scythe, as always. Hex, welcome to you too. Rish Rules, how do you not have Wukong? I do have Wukong. We're just gonna cook him today. He already has 3 forma in him. I just wanted to, take a little bit of a look at him to test some stuff out with the builds and stuff, because I want to make finally a Wukong video because everybody's asking for it. So I think that's about the time to do it, right? Cosmic Crow, welcome to you too. And Daniel, hi. Yeah. Morning, afternoon, big rainstorms in Texas. Cosmic, I wish the cable of my camera was long enough so I could actually show you how it looks outside. But today is wild weather, right? I went out for grocery shopping a couple minutes ago and it was sun. And now there's like fucking storms going on outside, rain, everything. You know what I mean? So, how's it going? How's your start into the week been so far? Repkus, good to see you as well. And Zenit TV, welcome to you too. Wow, chat is going crazy again. You know how it is, right? Chat is absolutely going crazy again. Wukong video, exactly, Rich, exactly. I'm going to work on a Wukong video. It's not going to come out this week because today is my last working day for the week. Tomorrow is Father's Day. I don't know if it's international, but in Germany tomorrow is Father's Day and it's a holiday. So I'm going to be out of town for a extended weekend from tomorrow till Sunday. Meaning Wukong video is going to happen probably next week, but that does not mean we can't do the cooking today now, can we? So that's the plan, basically. And Eric Underwood, good to see you too. You got at 257%, ad is 180, what? Wukong. Okay, Wukong. Okay. Well, we're going to look into Wukong, what we can cook up on him. I haven't tried him with melee arcanes on the Exalted just yet. Love your haircut, Gilly. Thank you so much. Yeah, actually, friends, let's quickly talk about haircuts. I know it might be a little bit boring, but I promise you I have a fun story for you. First of all, though, need to give a big shout out to my lovely girlfriend who took over the cooking duty for today, because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to make it in time for stream. I literally finished with lunch 2 minutes before we went live, and I really appreciate that she made the lovely food today, so I didn't have to do that. That came in clutch, not gonna lie. Was very yummy. We had fish with rice. We always tend to do that once per week. It's nice. I like fish. Yo, Sunny Boy, good to see you. Good to see you too, Sunny Boy. And you, Kaima, what's going on? Macaco moment. Yeah, what? Oh, man. Thank you, that guy. Yeah. Thank you to my girlfriend. She's awesome. By the way, for everybody who did not know that, the reason that I even make English content is that she kicked me in the butt and was like, stop being a fucking wussy. Stop worrying about your accent. Just do it. Just do it, you wimp. And then I did it. And it turned out to be pretty successful. So thank you to her. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be here too now. By the way, this part looks very funny here because of the headset. It looks like receiving broadcasts from other parts of the Milky Way. But it's alright. It's alright. Yo, what's going on, Kitten Jacobs? What's going on, Raika? Welcome to the stream, yo, too. One of the largest people in the Warframe community. Exactly. And what? Who are we talking about? Mythical Wolf, by the way, welcome, Patrasator as well. Hi, friends. Thanks, girlfriend goes. Exactly. Thank you so much. Big Yarly heart goes out. And Goad, good to see you too. Now, let me before we jump into Mr. Wukong here, let me share a little story. Let me share a quick story with regards to the haircut. I promise you, I'm going somewhere with this. This will be entertaining. See, I don't know how it is in all of your countries, but here in Germany, there's basically 2 types of hair salons, so to speak. You have the German hair salon, where only German ladies work. It never happens that guys work as hairstylists in those salons. It's always just ladies who work there. And it's always just Germans, like Germans with socks and sandals, the Germanest of Germans who go to these salons. And it's also only just ladies who go to these salons, right? You might see a man there. That's usually if he's the husband and she just took him with herself, or if he's the child and she took him with herself. That's the one type of hair salon. German ladies work in there. All the ladies are only customers, basically no men, and also a lot of old ladies there. And they are very fucking expensive. Like, I'm talking $30 and more, probably more like $40 or 40 euros for a haircut like mine that takes 5 minutes. And then the other type of hair salon are the barbershops, and they are all ran by Middle Eastern guys. There are no ladies working there. It's just guys. They're all from the Middle East. It's all Middle Eastern barbershops. They're all always having Middle Eastern pop music running. And they are usually much, much, much cheaper, like half or even less. And, you know, some people used to make fun at those type of barbershops. They're like, oh, you're going to go to the Turkish barber. You know what? I do. And I like it. Once I transitioned from that salon that my mom used to take me to when I was a kid to the barbershop around the corner run by Middle Easterners, bruh, that's so much nicer. I don't know about you guys, right? I know there are a lot of gentlemen in the audience right here, right? I know that we're majorly male dominated in the Warframe fandom, and I don't know about you all, but doesn't it just fucking suck if you go get a haircut and the barber or hairstylist or whatever it's called just forces you into like small talk conversation and shit? I just hate that. I just want to sit there, get my hair cut, be in my mind, and then go out. I do not want to sit there for half an hour having like a small talk about the weather or anything else with the person that does my hair, who I do not know and who I do not have a personal relationship with. I just want to have my peace, right? And in those German salons where there's a lot of ladies, there is so much, like, if you don't talk, they're gonna think you're so impolite, and you're forced into those conversations, and I hate that. And when I went to that Middle Eastern barbershop today, I just went in. I was like, "You got time? Yeah, sure. Hi, how's it going? How do we do it? Okay, like this. 10 minutes later, hair done. Thanks, looks good. Yep. See you. Bye. Next week, whatever." Right? It's just like everybody in those barbershops. The guys are not talking. The customers are not talking. And I feel that all of them are very happy about it. And I like that. I really do like that. Socks with sandals cost me. Yeah, that's one of the most German things ever, right? Wearing socks and sandals. That's a typical German thing. You pay $100 for a haircut. Holy cow, that's quite a lot, man. Highway robbery. That's crazy. I paid 15. I paid 15 for the haircut. 15 euros. And I really appreciate that. Probably because they're doing tax avoidance, because they don't take card payment. But you know what? If it's that type of tax avoidance where I, as a customer, benefit from a 15 euro haircut, it's all right with me. It's all right with me. It's perfectly fine. By the way, Chicken Teriyaki, welcome to the stream. Yukaima, yeah, we already greeted you, Yukaima, right? So yeah, that's the little story. But the one funny thing is, the other day, not today, a couple of weeks ago when I was there for the last time, I was sitting there getting my hair done, and two of the other employees were talking in, I think it was Arab, half German, so I couldn't really understand what they were talking about, just, you know, some words here and there. So I was getting my hair made, and they were sitting somewhere in the corner chatting about something, and all I heard, right, I heard little snippets, and they were very suspicious. Like, I heard them talk about, like, it was like they were sort of hush-hush, right? They were, like, leaning in, so not talking too loud. And then one guy said something like, "Man, you sure? 5 kilograms? Don't you think that's a little bit too much, 5 kilograms? If we bring that to the party and we can't sell all of it, then we're going to make a loss there." And I was, because it was only half German and then half Arab, and I don't speak Arab, so I was like, what the fuck are they talking about? Because to me, that sounded very sus. Like, they were going back and forth about whether they should go for 3 or 5 kilogram for the party, and I was like, please tell me that you're working for Turkish catering service and you're talking about the weight of the kebab meat that you're going to bring to the party. Because to me, That sounds very much like you're talking about that, that good old Cali dough, if you know what I mean. That was hella funny. I did not dare to ask. I pretended I did not hear what they were talking about. And I do not know whether they brought 3 or 5 kilograms to the party. I have no idea. just wanted to share that. I thought that was a funny little story. Probably I should educate myself in the Arab language a bit more, then I would have known whether they're talking about meat and catering or the good old, the peaches from Georgia. Our German Döners gut Xenon. I mean, I've never really tried non-German ones. We have very shitty ones, gotta be real. We also have pretty good ones. I think there is a lot from worst to best. Can't really say about other countries. Your Zephyr kissed Boreal last night, Gilded. What? She into Als now? And Aaron, welcome. Lee Phillips, what's going on? What I just joined. You just joined a little chat session before we go into Warframe. But you know what? We could actually go and start the game. How about that? Jester, what's going on? Booger Sugar. Necrontic, welcome to you too. I hate this launcher. It's so loud. Haircuts take 1 hour in Indonesia. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, y'all have that much hair on your head, or you just chilling? Do you go to get a haircut while you're working and it's like on the payroll, so you make sure it takes as long as possible? I could understand that, but to me personally, when I'm at the barbershop, I just want to get in and out as fast as possible. You know what I mean? Call me Neon. Okay, I will do that. I will do that. Let me quickly change the scenes. Warframe in-game. There we go. Mr. Makaraman, you have an idea for a Warframe concept. Basically, his name is Goethe. He's based off of the ARS Goethe from... Is that an anime? Because I don't know. I have never heard that. I'm sorry. I cannot I cannot say anything about that. What's going on? Scarecrow just switched from YouTube and followed as well. Thank you so much, Scarecrow. You're more than welcome, just like everybody else in the stream, to have a beautiful, nice Wednesday together with us. So friends, how's your week been going so far? How's your week been going? Is tomorrow International Father's Day, or is it just a Germany thing? Because I genuinely don't know. I just know tomorrow is a holiday here. Hail the Monkey King! Exactly. Minecraft just told me that in medieval Poland, they thought mammoth bones were dragon bones, Ling my lord. I mean, I can understand that. I mean, the whole reason why dragons kind of look like dinosaurs has to do with the fact that, you know, back in the day when people obviously did not know what dinosaurs were, they found those bones and they just came up with the best possible explanation, which was something like a dragon, right? This is a fact. This is a historic fact. It's not just a coincidence, which I find is actually, I like it. It makes sense, right? Father's Day in the US is June 15th. Okay. June 15th in the UK too. Oh, then it's probably just one of those things where Germany does its German thing. Before we go into the build crafting and stuff, let me switch to the back rooms again so that Ordis will just, you know, shut up and just not constantly interrupt me as I'm speaking. That was a little nasty, Ordis. Just came from YouTube and they won some Pablo adventure. What? What minute since? No, we're not in the now we're in the 1999 room. Now we're in the 1999 room because now Ordis will not talk over me all the time anymore, which is greatly appreciated. Let me quickly switch the music off so it doesn't interact with the music in the game. Praying Hand, what's going on? Awesome people. Well, welcome to you, Praying Hand. Good to have you here as always. I just have a main place in the back rooms. Yeah, Neon, exactly. I usually also use the back rooms because I just find them very cozy. But I went to the Orbiter because I wanted to record something earlier and I didn't want that in the back rooms, basically to avoid spoilers. So that's the reason why I quickly switched. But then I remembered, if you're in the orbiter, then Ordis is never going to frickin' shut up. So we're now here. We're now at peace. In Finland, Father's Day is the second Sunday in November. Isn't in Finland like every month, like November or December? Isn't it like dark and cold and everybody drinks a lot of alcohol to not be miserable? Isn't that the Finnish way of life? Because I've heard that, and if that is true, then I should totally move there. Because having a cold country throughout the entire year sounds very, very, very inviting to me. So, friends, I would say before we jump into cooking Mr. Wukong right here, how about we take a look at some of your viewer builds and or fashion? I think that's a good thing to start the stream off. So, for everybody, let me quickly explain it in case you don't know. For everybody who wants to share a build or a fashion loadout, just go to your arsenal, open your chat window, type in /W MHBlacky. Did I spell myself right? Yes. And then you go to whatever you want to share, be that a fashion or a build, and you click this little link icon here, which will then make your config appear down here, and then you can send it to me, and I can take a look at it and review it. You can send me multiple different things, but I will only take a look at one item per person, just to make sure that I get through as many of you as possible. But yeah, in case you want to share more, you're more than welcome to, because if you send me a Warframe or a weapon that I've never really spent much time with, I don't have a lot of input I could give you, and then it would be nice to have like an alternative thing that I could look at for you. Liquid Ryan, do you ever do streams where you check viewers' builds and correct them? We're doing that as we speak. What a good intro, Ryan. What a good intro. Usually we tend to do that pretty often, like not for the entire stream, but we tend to take a couple minutes here and there to answer questions or specific build questions, fashion questions, because apparently a lot of you like that, and it means that I can interact more with you in chat, and that's cool. I like that. JDSP, if I remember correctly, you can disable orders. Yeah, I should take a look at the options menu for that, because I've also heard that. But I find the back rooms just more inviting in general. But when we're taking a look at builds, we need to make sure, friends, when we're taking a look at builds, we gotta activate our build showcase skin, don't we? Gentlemen, don't we? We cannot have Wukong in the background while we're taking a look at builds. That's not gonna happen. What is that Sayandana? I can't find it, Chicken Teriyaki. The one on Wukong, that is, I don't know what the name was, but it was the signature Sayandana from Hildren. Yeah, that was that. I find it pretty cool on many Warframes. I find that kind of, for my fashion, I tend to get back to the same couple of shoulder plates, chest plates, and Sayandanas. I have not a lot of variety in my Warframe fashion. I like it the way it is, but it doesn't have a lot of variety. Jürgen, what's going on? Welcome. So yeah, let's take a look at the first couple stuff from the Sands. A Harrow look. However, we have a Death Angel Harrow here, right? Continuing the trend of turning Harrow into an angel, now we have Harrow being an angel of Japanese death with the Signa from the Vault Oni skin. I like that. It's a very bloody Harrow. If you play the Chains of Harrow quest with this skin, you might just think he's invisible because he fits in so well with the dark, nitty-gritty red and black tile set, you know what I mean? That's cool. It's really cool. I like it. Especially like the chest plate. I use this thing so often. Is this are these shoulders the one with the glass shards on them? It's a cool one. Thanks for sharing. Rap tap tap, exactly. Harrow be like, rap tap tap Tenno. My fashion is beautiful, isn't it? Don't you dare say no. You know what I mean? That was basically this. That was how I would imagine that skin to communicate. Flavioli is free is exactly. Sometimes, you know, when we're talking about Harrow, it just has to happen. It just has to happen. Okay. My username is pronounced that guy called CH, and CH are your initials. I get it. I get it, CH. Is it fine if I refer to you as CH then? Look, Titania. Oh, we have a black and white one. It's not the saturation turned down. It's a black and white Titania, and she's pretty. By the way, Titania, if I'm on a good schedule, if I manage to get my stuff together, it might be. Don't quote me on that, but it might be that we could have a Titania build out next week too, if the Wukong build doesn't take all too much time. Because I really need to take a look into Titania. She is very pretty though, especially with the shoulder plates. I like them. The Signa, very nice. And she cool. She cool. Can't wait to freaking build her finally. In your opinion, Harrow fits the red-black color combo? Yeah, sure. If not Harrow, then who else, right? If not Harrow, then who else? Kid, you like Titania? Actually, there was a sort of a meme when in 2019 I started my German channel. It was kind of like that community meme that we had where I would always just shit on Titania super badly without even understanding her, and everybody would get mad at me. And then I tried her and I was like, hey, she's actually pretty good. But that was 5 years ago, so I will need some more time to test her and see what she can actually do. Lingmerload. So me who plays looter shooters, right, just got recommended a multiplayer prawn game for some you know the fun thing is, right, if you're an internet person, right, if you're living on the internet and you read prawn, you instantly know which word is actually meant. But if you're a normie who touches grass more than once per year, you wouldn't even understand what you're talking about, like Malar. You know what I mean? But which type of game did you get recommended? Oh man. Why don't you build your frames on Steam? What do you mean? Chicken teriyaki on Steam? On stream, you mean, right? On stream. That's what we're holy cow. Sorry for that. That's what I'm planning to do today. That's what I'm planning to do. Want to see the Phantasma Incarnon concept? Yesterday, yeah, I saw the comment. So let me know, Necrontic. Let me know. Also have an X-Scalp fashion. The Phantasma Incarnon is a pure heal dual wield version of the okay, max charge 308 multi-shot. 300 max charge 308 multi-shot. Okay. It's a heal version. Necrontic, by the way, for everybody who doesn't know, has made a sort of fan concept for a Incarnon version of the Phantasma, and it kind of sounds pretty interesting, you know. Evo 1, more damage and damage on kill stacks, okay. Negative accuracy and plus beam range. I mean, negative accuracy, nobody cares about that, right? So it would be a good positive on the Phantasma. What do we hear? What do we have here? Naked Excalibur Umbra? R34 Excalibur Umbra, anyone? Not chicken exactly. That's what we're planning to do today. At least a little bit, you know, experimenting around a little bit with Wukong. So I don't need to do that off stream, and hopefully get the build guide for Wukong out earlier next week. By the way, Wukong, prime German accent coming through there. That's a fun Excalibur. I like him. He's just like, I'm going to the beach, girls. I'm going in the birthday suit. That's a cool one. Still typing, don't close. Okay. Let's take a look at the Volt Pro. Ooh! By the way, the master of the Signa that we just had on Harrow, the Oni Volt. He looks pretty fired up. He looks like if you touch him, if you come too close, you might just get burned. I like it though. It's a very lava-y type of look. Also the Tenokon Sayandana here. And the armor set fits very well, right? He's not just hot. He just will also poke you if you get too close. Like if he hugs you, he's gonna stab you with that chest plate. So, you know, don't get too cozy with him. It's a cool look. Thank you, Razor. New haircut. Thanks, you Technik. Thank you. Yeah, we already shared a little story from the barbershop that I went to. You know, it's a barbershop around the corner. I really like those Middle Eastern type of barbershops. They, you know, they're nice. Sometimes they even offer you freaking tea for free. Like, if you go to a German freaking hair salon with, you know, ran by old ladies, you ain't getting shit for free. You're paying $50 for a haircut, and maybe you get a glass of water, but only if you ask for it, right? Whereas in the Middle Eastern ones, you come in, haircut, 15 euros, max, and then they're like, oh, can I take your jacket? Do you want to have a tea? Anything. It's so nice. I feel so welcome there. Havelog, what's going on? A Wukong look. Okay. We're talking about Wukong today. Let's take a look at the, with the MHBlacky color palette. He looks very menacing, brother. What is that helmet, man? The Samadhi skin. Okay. He looks menacing. He looks like he ain't gonna fuck around. Oh, the Excalibur skin, Pedro said a good point. No, I have not bought that yet. Thank you for reminding me. Should do that off stream though, because I don't like to fiddle around with credit card info while I'm live streaming. But yeah, I will do that. By the way, I like the. Why can't I rotate the look by myself? Dang it. Creatures, welcome. So we have a very nice Wukong look here. I like the way that the ephemera sort of looks like it comes out of the chest plate. That's very cool. And he looks like he looks like a very majestic winged Wukong fell into a pool of toxic waste but didn't die, and then he came out sort of full of acid and half burned and everything, and that's what he's gonna look like afterwards. He looks like if you meet him in a dark alleyway at night, you ain't gonna see the light of day anymore. But I do appreciate, I do like the look. It is nitty gritty and dark, but it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And, you know, the color scheme, what can I say against the color scheme, right? What can I say against gray and lime green? Exactly, Kistrin. Exactly. Very nice Wukong. By the way, welcome to you too. No, kid, what? Ads already? Jeez. Twitch really wants to squeeze out ad money. I wish I could just freaking turn them off. Like, let's be real, right? Twitch forces you to have these ads. The only thing that you can do is decide whether they should play right away when somebody clicks on the stream, or every 30 minutes, right? That's the only thing you can decide as a streamer. On YouTube, you can turn the ads on and off manually. Today, by the way, I wanted to try something out and turn the ads on the YouTube stream off completely. But like on Twitch, you just earn pennies on the dollar with those ads anyway, so it doesn't even serve any purpose for the streamer, in my opinion, right? So yeah, if I could, I would just turn them off on Twitch as well. What is this Warframe ALP? That is Ember with the heirloom skin. And for everybody who, you know, came in through the Twitch browse feature because they saw a gut on screen, y'all are welcome. That's why she here. We're doing build, Seth. Yeah, we're starting out the stream a little bit chill, Seth. Right? Taking a look at fashion, taking a look at builds, whatever you feel like, and then we're gonna later try out some Wukong shenanigans. Exceltra Soma, what weapons should you buy as a Mastery 13 kit? Yeah, that's a good suggestion, kid. Exceltra Soma, very, very good. New War, absolutely 100%. These are three very, very great weapons. You just go YouTube with ad blocker. I can understand that, right? I'm not going to judge. Sure, you know, as a YouTuber, you don't earn money if people watch your videos with ad blocker, but I'm not going to judge you, you know. I personally actually turned off mine because of that, but I can understand why people are annoyed by YouTube ads, especially, holy fuck, especially if you watch YouTube on a TV, brother, YouTube realizes which device you're watching on and adjusts the ads accordingly. And if you watch on a TV, then YouTube is no shit gonna give you 1 or 2 minute unskippable ad blocks, right? A full block of like 3, 4, 5 ads in a row, 1 to 2 minutes long, unskippable, and that happens only if you watch on TV. So my girlfriend the other day was like, she's watching like a YouTube series in the evening, and she does that on the sofa. So she switches the TV on and watches that there, and then she was like, man, it's so annoying, like those minute-long ads on YouTube. What is wrong with y'all? And I was like, you know what? Just take your laptop, connect it to the screen, and watch it with your laptop, and that solved it. That made it have, you know, those 10-second, 20-second skippable ads instead of the minute-long ad blocks. Kirio, welcome to the stream. He said Kuva Nukor is the best, but what's better for Yareli, Nukor or OcuCore? Well, that's a good question. I think they're both very, very good. I think, though, for Yareli, OcuCore is probably better, because Yareli is in the very unique spot where she gives crit chance to secondary weapons, but this crit chance works like mods, meaning if you use a secondary weapon that has barely any base crit chance, for example, the Kuva Nukor, right, with what is it, 7% at base? If you use that on Yareli, you're basically not going to benefit from her passive, which means the Kuva Nukor is a great secondary, especially with the secondary Innovate in the Arcane slot, but like specifically not on Yareli. That's kind of the problem. So I would probably go for the OcuCore, Kirio. You know, notice that YouTube on PS5 is almost unwatchable. Really, Sheridan? Really? On PS5 as well? That's kind of crazy, man. Exactly. Chilled Gaming, I agree. Innovate is insane on OcuCore as well. Innovate is insane on basically all secondaries that don't have at least, I would say, 20% crit chance. I know there's like a definite answer there, and somebody did the math on that, but I would have to check it out again. But the lower the crit chance on a secondary, the more you're going to benefit from Innovate. Just sent my early bill. Oh, that's cool. Let's you know, I'm talking too much again. Let's just go through some more stuff that you sent, shall we? That's a very frosty Saren right here. I like her, especially this part on the leg right here with the blue purplish energy color. I feel like she looks like a Finnish Saren. Also high crit damage, exactly, Tilt Gaming. Crit damage for sure. Yeah, that looks like a Finland Saren. She's like, I'm not spreading toxin. I'm spreading snow today. No, she looks very, very nice. Also, again, the Dax armor set looking very good. Especially also the shoulder plate. I feel that, you know, these Dax shoulder plates look pretty ass on most frames, but on this area, it's actually pretty good. I like it. Very good look. Thank you for sharing. Ashy Saren, exactly, Cephalon Billy. Looks good. Yeah, it does. Spicy base roll. What's going on? Secondary Innovate is amazing on the dual Toxica pistols. It's definitely good. I personally think if you get a decent chunk of crit chance, like if you choose the Incarnon evolutions in a way that you get more crit chance at base, then I would probably prefer secondary Encumber. But if you go for the higher status chance, less base crit chance, sure, then Innovate is doing God's work. Not gonna lie. Mr. Shadowframe, welcome. So what do we got here? Necrontic has finished his wall of text with the concept for a Phantasma Incarnon. So evolution 5 would be a 50% chance to deal 2000% damage. Okay, like on the base Incarnons with one. Okay, that's pretty strong, man. That's really strong, especially because the Phantasma already has absolutely no crit chance. It's meant to be a Jedi Necrontic. Oh, I get it. Okay, yeah, sure. That makes sense. It's a cool one. And I also like the idea for the Phantasma. I mean, a Phantasma Incarnon, one of the best shotguns in the game, turns into an Incarnon. That would be very hilarious. I would love that, though. I would love that. I'm a Phantasma fan. Let's see what Manuel has for the Gara look right here. What are the best Incarnon updates for the Prado solo, Nico? That's a good question. I've unfortunately never really taken a look too deep into the Prados, but holy cow, man, that Gara looks, ooh. Am I the only one who's digging this? That looks very, very good. Also with the Syandana. That's so good. Like the bulky. I always thought, you know, Gara is a relatively thin and fragile looking female frame, right? She's not built like Hildren, but I'm surprised how good these more bulky armor pieces do in fact look on her. She's really, really, really cool. She looks like a transformer, right? Like a Bionicle, something like that. I really like that. You made it really fun. You did. You did. I love this look. You know what? I might just gonna go and copy that a little bit because damn girl looking fly. Look at these Gara curves, exactly. Those are some glassy curves right there. That look, it does, exactly, Jester. It does look awesome, doesn't it? Yeah, that's not wood, that is will territory right there. That is will. Not sure if the Sandana gonna fan out, but yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised. I didn't even know the Sandana could be spread like this. Oh, we have a build right here for the Mesa. Let's take a look at Madam Mesa right here. Good morning, Dragonfall, and hi, Andy. What's going on? And Flo, yo, so many new faces here. I mean, no, not necessarily new, but you know, first message of the stream. Welcome. What's going on? How's the stream going? Oh, we just chilling. You know, we take a look at some viewer builds, and then we're gonna cook Mr. Wukong. That's the plan for today. So, you know, nothing all too special, but I'm interested to see what Monkey Boy can do with some nice melee arcanes on his Exalted. Cheddar Guap, what's good? Welcome to the stream. Let's take a look at the Mesa loadout right here. Growing Power, I appreciate that. Mesa's Waltz, I find that's a very convenient one. Arcane Impetus, I hope you use Secondary Encumber, because, you know, otherwise Arcane Impetus doesn't make all too much sense. Equilibrium is cool. I think with the right companion, you might not need Arcane Energize if you have Equilibrium. Equilibrium should give you more than enough energy income. Should be fine. Prime Flow is good. Vitality, no, Vitality is fine. You don't need to go with shield tanking. Precision Intensify for the regulators makes sense. Continuity, stretch. I'm not sure if you're using stretch for the damage redirection from the 3 or from the for the blinding effect of the 2. I personally find that range is more of a dump stat on Mesa, because the range of the regulators right here, which is 50 meters, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that is unaffected by range. Like, you could have 0% range and this would still have a range of 50 meters. So unless you're going for some shenanigans with your 2 or your 3 here, I would replace this one with something else and probably put armor into here. Something that gives you armor, because if you go with Vitality, then it would be nice to also buff up the armor a little bit, because 135 is not great. Would make you much tankier. Other than that, right, maybe you don't need Energize because of Equilibrium, and if you don't need Stretch for your abilities, go armor here. Other than that, looks like a very good Mesa. Let's also take a quick look at her. Why not? She looks good. She's also she's like black and yellow. Kids, do you remember that song, Black and Yellow, or is it just me because I'm old? Verdict, by the way, welcome to the stream. I saw you posted something. It's already out of the chat window because chat is going so crazy. I am sorry. If you want me to answer to your previous messages, Verdict, just put them in the chat again. I hope I can read them again. But yeah, that's a pretty cool Mesa, also pretty well built with a Mag Prime look. Oh man. That's a nice one though. Again, a very neat usage of those Zeraman shoulder plates. I always find it funny how those Zeraman shoulder plates are pretty big and bulky, but they tend to look best on the more fragile frames. It's kind of a contradiction, but it looks really good. Also the pink, right? And then, what is it? Is it the Dante animation set, right? Don't know Black and Yellow, and that's fine. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. OG song right there. Only. Yeah. That's Caliban. Okay. I thought that was Dante. But yeah, Caliban does float as well. Mag can't look. Who says Mag can't look cool? I think Mag has gotten quite some fashion buffs over the years. I mean, to be fair, right, when the game was a bit newer still and we didn't have that much fashion options, yeah, Mag was pretty basic. She was like a pretty basic lady, but nowadays, you know, it's 2025 and even Mag can look good. Cheeseburger, by the way, cheeseburger, first of all, that is the only right way to spell cheeseburger. I appreciate it. You know, it appeals to the hood rat inside of me because that's how I would eat my cheeseburger too. Question. You mentioned the galvanized mods not being always helpful for every weapon. What about the Regulator's Prime? On the Regulator's Prime, they should work as base damage, like it says on the mod, because the Regulators Prime do not appear on the list, as far as I remember, on the wiki website. So on them, the galvanized status chance mods should work as intended, not multiplicative, just additive as base damage. So if you wanted to put base damage on the Regulators, I would either use Hornet Strike, you know, the normal base damage mod, or the galvanized status mod instead. Not both at the same time. Super chat, Christopher, what's going on? By the way, Christopher, I saw that you, like a couple streams ago, you also had a question via super chat. It was also about the galvanized mods, I think. I did not notice that on stream. I'm very sorry for that. I made a community post about it. I don't know if you saw that. If not, your answer for that galvanized question that you asked in super chat last week or so, I answered that in the community post. You can go to my to my YouTube channel and look into the community tab, and there is your answer there. Good afternoon. Asking again, but can you please elaborate on the issue with galvanized aptitude? First of all, thank you again for the £5, man. This time I saw it. Okay, let me quickly. By the way, you know, the mag fashion is great. The issue with galvanized aptitude, let me quickly go over it. Actually, we can go into the simulacrum for that. Let's quickly go into the simulacrum and go over an example for additive versus multiplicative damage. Oh, no problem, Christopher. I felt kind of bad for having missed that message. I'm sorry. But I made like a little example in the text also with numbers. But we can also show you on screen real quick. Hi, Samaris, exactly. Salute for Samaris. So the question was, right? The question was additive versus multiplicative condition overload. So the thing is basically what you're going to do. Let me quickly find some weapon where I can make a little example build on. Let's just, whatever. Let's just free up some space on the Soma right here. So, Teacup, Professor Blackie is back. Exactly. Okay, class. Listen up closely. This will be on the assignment for this week. So the thing is, right? The thing is, galvanized aptitude, or any galvanized status chance mod, says it gives you direct damage per status type affecting the target. What this means is, in theory, this should be base damage on the enemy per status type. Meaning, if I spawn in an enemy, I don't know, let's just spawn a couple of those, bring out the epitaph as a primer, bada bing, bada boom. So this should make it that per different status type on the enemy, it should apply more damage. So if I shoot with the Soma now, the enemy right here has 4 different status types right now, it would theoretically give me 4 times the 40% base damage that galvanized aptitude gives at least once that is activated. Stacks up to 2 times, so technically 80% damage per status type. That damage is ideally, or on paper, that damage that you get from this one here should be the same type of damage as you would get from Serration. So basically what that means is if you have 2 stacks on galvanized aptitude, so plus 80% damage per status type, that would mean if you have 2 different statuses on the enemy, with this would give you 160% base damage, exactly like this one here. Meaning,
welcome, Tenno.
Yo, Kyberius Soul, thank you so much. Big Brofist, thank you so much for the sub. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Have a lot of fun with the emotes, with the loyalty badges. Nice that you're here. So yeah, getting back to it, once you have this one stacked up and the enemy has 2 different status effects on them, you will get the same amount of base damage out of this that you get out of this. The difference here is that you can put many, many more status types on the enemy and get much, much more base damage out of Galvanized Aptitude than the 160% from Serration. So if you go with that, you ideally don't want to go with Serration because it pales in comparison as to the damage potential. That is what you usually want to do on most weapons. The problem is there are some weapons where this mod here doesn't work. It just doesn't give you base damage. Just doesn't. It says it does, but it doesn't. And there's a wiki entry called Condition Overload Mechanic with a long ass list of all the weapons where this one does not work as intended. So it doesn't work the way that I just explained. And it shows for all these weapons how it works. If on that list it says it doesn't work, then obviously you don't use it. You just put Serration in and then you got your base damage. It's all good. But there is one difference, and that's actually positive. There are a couple of weapons where this is multiplicative, meaning that the damage you get from this is not considered base damage like Serration, but it's sort of added on top of Serration. Like, for example, the way this would work, if you get 40% out of this and 165% out of this, the game would first add these 2 numbers together, so 40 plus 165, and then it would give you a total of 205% more base damage. If it's multiplicative, though, then what the game does is it first adds 165% damage onto your weapon, and then after the damage is already increased, it takes 40% of the already increased damage and puts that on top. That is what happens when it's multiplicative, which leads to much higher damage numbers because now you have basically both of these mods bouncing off of each other. That's what happens if it's multiplicative, meaning if that list on the wiki tells you that your weapon of choice has multiplicative gun CO, or gun condition overload, that's how the mechanic is referred to, then you want to have both of these mods on the weapon to get really, really high numbers. One weapon where I know this is actually the case is the Stalta Altfire, I think. Yes. I think the Stalta Altfire has multiplicative gun CO, right? Moog, are you watching? Can you explain that to us? No, but for the Stalta, that's also one of the reasons why the Stalta is so absolutely ridiculously powerful, is because it has multiplicative gun CO. I'm gonna get back to chat in a second. I know I missed a lot of messages. I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna get back to you. Just so you wait. So if you shoot the Altfire, this deals a lot of damage. Of course, I need to first get my gun CO mod stacked up by getting kills. Let's quickly do that. Boom. Boom. And now it's pretty strong. Just so we're on the same page here, right? I'm having 2 stacks on Galvanized Aptitude, meaning 80% more damage per status type affecting the enemy. If the enemy has no status type on them, they take round about 500,000 damage. We saw that there, 500,000 roundabout. If I now prime the enemy with tons of status types, 5 million damage. Have you seen that? Have you seen the difference? 8 million damage. Because now they have so many status types on them that Galvanized Aptitude gets a lot of damage. That's basically what's happening here. We can do that again. Let's do that. Bada bing, bada boom. So with Galvanized Aptitude stacked up, one shot, 300,000 damage. With priming, okay, I'm not going to hit the head. Yeah, not going to hit the head, 1.5 million. But you can see here, we have a whole lot of damage. 6 million. That's because on the Stalta Altfire, this damage bonus is multiplied with this and not just added. For example, we could make an example, right? If this one here, and this one were the same, right? Then 2 stacks of Galvanized Aptitude should roundabout be the same as Serration. So what we could do is, oh no, I don't have the, no, forget what I said. I don't have the format for this. It was a long-winded explanation anyway. It was a long-winded explanation. I'm sorry for spending so much time on this. I hope that I could make this a little bit more clearer, how multiplicative gun condition overload works. If you want to try it, definitely try it. Stalta Altfire is great. It's also going to make Moog very happy because he was, I think, the first person to really embrace the Stalta. Would Aptitude work on Grim Altfire and Cedo Altfire? Zephyr, in general, these gun condition overload mods only work on direct hits. So if you have anything that does AoE damage, it usually doesn't work on the AoE. Only on the direct hit. If you want to see for a specific weapon how it interacts, just go to that wiki page, that condition overload mechanic page, and read it for yourself, because it's dozens and dozens and dozens of weapons. I do not have in my mind what does what exactly. What happened to rating business? We're back to that, support guy. We're back to that. I'm just one person, right? I only have 2 hands. Y'all are so many. I can't make everybody happy all the time. I'm sorry. Julie, new haircut. Exactly, Julie. Exactly. It was about time. My hair was getting uncomfortably long. Oh yeah, we had that, Mag. Patricida, what's going on? Excalibur Umbra mod configuration. I'm gonna send Yareli. Oh, do that, Arathel. Any plans for Ember video in the future? I think I should maybe revisit her. My last Ember video wasn't all too great, but I'm also not too big of a fan of Ember, gotta be real. I just don't vibe with her all too much. So I'm probably gonna take a little bit more time to do that. Necrontic, imagine if we mod for Blast on Phantasma and Karnon. Yeah, that's pretty strong. And go for minus 0.5 base crit multiplier, plus 20% status chance evolution, plus 50% chance to do damage. Yeah, that would be basically if the Fenmore had a beam fire mode that you mod for Blast. That would basically be the same thing, right? Lithius, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. First time seeing Nubolon, welcome to the stream. First time seeing my face? Well, welcome to the stream. Welcome to your, I think, first stream then, right? Hope you're gonna have a good Wednesday together with us. Oh yeah, Pedro said it, 100%. Kai's Excalibur video is absolutely crazy. Like, bro put so much time into the editing. It's kind of like he's building a portfolio to get a job as a professional editor for someone else, right? Otherwise, it kind of seems like he just really wants to flex his editing muscles. And I'm gonna be real, the product is probably the nicest build guide we've ever had on the platform. Anybody know how Temple's first ability would be on Nezha with negative duration? Haven't tried it, Gotti, unfortunately. Haven't tried it. Can you explain how to play Limbo? I'm going to make a build guide on him at some point. I haven't made a Titania, exactly. Hopefully next week, I hope. Today, we're gonna check out Wukong first. Metal Twig, welcome. Day been going jolly good so far. Hope for you too. Always good to see you, man. Let's take a look at the Umbra right here. Steel Charge. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Warrior's Rest, sure. Umbral Intensify. Fast Deflection. Yeah, that's a really funny thing, right? With Arcane Aegis plus Fast Deflection plus Vigilante Vigor, it's going to be a very, very, very small time window only that you can actually get killed. You're going to have such a crazy shield regeneration going on that it's very unlikely that you're ever not going to be constantly shield gating, which is very cool. Which is very, very cool. Furious Javelin. I personally like, of course, Furious Javelin is great because it gives tons of damage. I personally just think, though, in my personal opinion, right, I just don't like to use it. I just don't like to constantly have to press my third button to get more damage onto my Exalted Blade. And if we're being totally fair, right, for most content in the game, even without this, you're dealing enough damage. So I get why technically it's the perfected damage if you have this, but I just personally don't like to use it. But to each their own, right? It's a great build. Is this exactly the build from Kai? I don't remember exactly which build he had in the video. Is this the exact copy of his build? Because bro put a lot of effort into theory crafting that. Yes, it is. Okay, Soap. Yes, it is. Yep. I mean the idea with the shield regeneration delay mods and Arcane Aegis, I think I might want to try that on some other Warframes myself, because the idea is very cool. Never really thought about that. Never really thought about it, but the idea is very, very cool. Who is my main, Christian? My main is Mr. Revenant, because I am a boring meta slave. Need good mods for my guns and Warframe. Can someone help me? Kenslayer, that's a pretty generalized question, but I do have a video on my YouTube channel about the best mods that everybody should have. Mod configuration, Oberon Prime. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of idea about Oberon. This has 2 red Archon shards, 1 red duration shard, and 2 blue health shards, all time forged. Okay. I'm not 100% sure if I can give you a good input on this, because I'm not well versed on Oberon, sadly. Can I rate the fashion instead, or do you have something else for me to take a look at? Because my feedback might be pretty meh. Might be pretty meh. What's the Warframe definition of meta? I mean, I just use this word basically synonymous with playing what is most strong, quote unquote, right? Sure, by definition, meta is the most efficient tactic available. And in Warframe, there is kind of not the #1 most efficient tactic. So when I say meta, I basically mean very, very good. But I like the Oberon look. I think the Signa works very... Bleh. I can't speak right now, jeez. I think the Signa works very... works very well on him. Now we go. There we go. There we go. Language be hard today. Isn't most of the Warframes meta in some places? Yeah, that's true. That's true, Protogen. Pretty much. Except Oberon. Except Oberon, unfortunately. Bro needs some love. Bro needs a kit that is as good as this build looks. Hopefully at some point. What would I change? Caliban mod configuration. Okay. 2 hours on the Viri. Oh, okay. Oberon Chroma. Yeah, Oberon Chroma. Bro really needs some love. Exactly, exactly. So, Summoner's Wrath makes absolute sense on Caliban, as well as Arcane Kamisato. Nourish, always a good subzoom. So, Razor Jar, sure. The boys, the Fusion Strike. I mean, one thing I would change is once the augment is out, of course, put the augment on, because the augment is, I think, going to be very, very strong for his summoner playstyle. Other than that, I don't see too much of an issue here. The range is good for the armor strip from the 4. Duration is fine. I think it's all good. I think it's all good. How do you inflict toxin with abilities, though? Do they deal toxin? Or is it just flexing that you have enough mod capacity to use the Archon version of it? No, but I think that's a jolly good build. Nothing to complain about here. Ouch. Like, I wish I could just have a headset microphone that sounds as good as this one, because the microphone arm is really bothering me sometimes, especially when I'm drinking. Ah, man, what we got here? Yarly Prime look. Oh, let's look at Bubble Queen, what we got here. She looks, I think that Tenokon Sayandana looks really, really darn good at her, on her. Like, it kind of looks like it's her signature, not gonna lie. Also, the new Gyre Deluxe armor set, right? I think she looks really fly. I think she looks like a really bubbly little sea creature on her coral reef. Just skating around underwater, something, something. I think that's a very, very pretty look. I should get a shotgun mic. I was thinking about that, actually. I was thinking about a shotgun mic, but the problem with shotgun mics is even though they're pretty good from a distance compared to other microphones, they still do not sound as nice as this one if you put it right in front of your face, you know what I mean? So what I was originally looking into was one of those sports commentator headset microphones, which are, you know how sports commentators sound on TV, right? They sound pretty good, and they're using headsets. So I was looking into that. I actually once bought one of those microphones for like $500, like one of those really, really expensive ones. And I put it on, and I shit you not, I don't know how these sports commentators do it, but if I would even dare to have the slightest wind coming out of my nose, not even like exhaling big time, just like normally talking and have the tiniest bit of wind coming out of my mouth or my nose, it would just instantly clip and it would just sound completely awful. And I was like, yeah, I returned it. Didn't work at all for me. So that was kind of sad. So I kind of stick with this one, I think, for the time being. Yeah, that Syndana really looks great on her. Not gonna lie. Oh, I got a Fullman Prime. Okay. Big Sag. Yeah, exactly. Yarely looks fabulous. So what we got here? We got a Fullman Prime. Okay. So we got Viral. Crit chance. Where's the crit chance? Where's the crit chance? I think there should be a crit chance mod right here if you go for crit damage, right? Galvanized chamber is fine. Galvanized aptitude is fine. I would have to double check if this is normal or additive or not working at all, as we were talking about it before. But I think you're going for a little bit too much base damage here, right? You have base damage from here. You have base damage from here. You have probably base damage from here. So I would recommend dropping this and rather go for a faction mod. That would give you more damage output. Of course, if you do not like faction mods, then just leave it as is. But in general, I think this is pretty decent. Maybe you could switch out Vigilante Armaments for a fire rate mod if you're not happy with the fire rate, because you're already going to get a lot of multi-shot from Galvanized Chamber here, so Vigilante is not that necessary. You could put, what is it, Anemic Agility, the one that gives a 90% fire rate and negative 15% damage. That would fit nicely in here. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents, but you're already on a good path here. I have this. Oh, a Riven. Okay. What's with the Riven? Fits in. What is? Are there Rivens that just rifle? Why is there no specific rifle on the? Is that normal that it shows Rivens without the weapon in the name? What? It's just like. What the heck? What is going on here? What is this? What am I looking at? What am I looking at? Is that like a bug that appears when you just take a look at someone else's Riven, or what is this? I would like to have a Riven like that fits on every rifle, please. Can I have one myself? Oh man, I want one of these myself. Whatever that is, man, just keep it. Don't sell it off. And yo, Xenos Fire, what's going on, Xeno? I'm doing jolly okay. Thanks for asking. I was just kind of flabbergasted by this beautiful Riven mod here. Yeah, imagine we would have that in the game. By the way, I'm gonna try to shout out comment. Let's see if the Twitch gods are with me today, and it works. Shout out Xenos Fire. Boom. It worked! Yes, it worked. Friends, if you don't know Xenos Fire, Mr. Xenos Fire right here is a very nice and inviting Warframe streamer. He's also live pretty much every day, 5 days a week. At least he's a lot more live than I am. If you haven't already, definitely check him out. Leave him a follow. And if you have questions about loadout, everything, yada, 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 then you can also bother him with that. I'm pretty sure he would be happy to help. The GOAT! Exactly. How's it going for you, Zeno? Have you streamed today? Or are you about to start streaming later? What's going on? What's going on with you? Can you say hi for Xenos for me, please? Zeno, Metal Twig says hi.
Hello.
Can't wait to... Yeah, we're going to get into Monkey King. We're going to get into him, definitely. I haven't forgotten about that. That's basically my personal goal for today's stream, right? So we have a Protea right here. Corrosive Projection is fine, I think. I think Growing Power would technically be better than a little bit of armor reduction. Because you're going to deal so much damage, you don't really gotta feel that bit of armor reduction here. Later on, just chillaxing, working on some super secret stuff. Ooh, just some... I see. Well then, I already wish you a beautiful stream later on. You got any special plans for your stream today? Archon Vitality here makes perfect sense for the heat procs. Logical. Temporal Erosion, Temporal Artillery. Okay. I mean, I think that is fine. I haven't really tried the Temporal Artillery myself yet. It's kind of capped at 20 times damage multiplier though. I think this is a fine build, right? Of course, once you get arcanes that work with her, you can definitely use the arcanes, but I don't see any issue here. I would not change. Maybe go for Growing Power here instead of Corrosive Projection. Maybe that, but that's really the only thing that I think I personally would have done differently. Rest is pretty good. Temporal Artillery, yeah, because it comes with you, right? Arathal, because it comes with you. I should try that, though. I should try it. Nerdy, what's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. New haircut looks different. If the new haircut wouldn't look different, that would be kind of cringe, right? I would have paid money for nothing. Oh man. So friends, I think I'm gonna go for 3 more loadouts, whatever there might be, and then we're gonna dive into actually building Wukong and testing some things out with him. Both temporal mods are good. I should really try it. I'm just so much of a fan of like base frames and base stuff. I got a Trinity here. Ooh, a Tekrot Trinity. You should go bald next. Yo, Flo. Nature is going to do that for me in a couple years anyway. Pretty sure, right? You know how it is with us guys. You know how it is. Most of us do not get to keep their hair forever. MH Baldy. Oh yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I might just rename the channel then. But I like this Tekrot look here, especially also with the agile animation set on her. Kind of looks like she's a bit like zombie rotten type of thing. And also the Signia, it kind of looks like she has some stuff growing out of her head a little bit, if you look at it from the right angle. It's definitely her Halloween costume, isn't it? That's definitely her. Though I gotta be real, it kind of seems like the Syandana didn't get the right color scheme. Or was that intended? Because to me, the Syandana kind of looks like it needs to have the base colors applied to it, right? That's a bug. Okay. That might be it then. No, but I really like it. It looks very terrifying. Like, look at her gloves, right? If you call the doctor comes in with purely red gloves like this. Yeah, that's terrifying. That is terrifying. You know, do not want that. Let's take a look at the Volt right here. Okay. Oh, another Oni Volt. This time black and yellow again. Very, very cool. Prostate exam, bro. Nerdy. Wait, where you get your prostate exam if the gloves look like that afterwards, bro? You should get some medical attention then. How many forma would you put on a cooked Wukong? That's a good question, Lobster. I mean, maybe we're gonna have to add a new. Right now, I have 3 forma on my Wukong. We might have to add 1 or 2. Let's see. Why do you think you're getting the exam? Hopefully not to make the gloves red. Hopefully not. But that's cool, man. That's cool. We have a relatively popular football or soccer, for those Freedom Eagles among you, team in Germany from a city called Dortmund, and their colors are black and yellow. And it kind of sounds like Onivolt right here is the biggest BVB fan. He's like watching all the matches. Yo, 2DD, exactly. That's the Team Fortress 2 medic gloves. That's them. That's the original gloves from the Team Fortress 2 medic. And she just stole them from him. What Warframe has the best survivability on Steel Path? 100% Revenant. Revenant has the best survivability, period. I think that's the one thing that even... by the way, I love the look here, in case that wasn't clear enough. I know a lot of people don't like Revenant because they find him boring and blah, blah, blah. But I think one thing that everybody can agree on when it comes to Revenant is that he's the most survivable Warframe. No matter if you main him, if you like him, if you're neutral, if you absolutely hate him. But I think everybody can agree that he's the most survivable Warframe, except maybe if you're playing on the Jupiter tile set where every second enemy is a nullifier. Then it kind of might potentially hypothetically suck a little bit. But other than that, definitely Harrow. Does violence, as far as I know, Razy, as far as I know, nobody turns his Mesmer skin off. I'm not sure. I would have to look into that. Might be that either they don't turn it off, or I just killed them so fast every time that I didn't have time to do that. I'm not 100% sure though. But I do know that there's a lot of stuff that can turn off other abilities, but Mesmer Skin still prevails. I think Mesmer Skin is very resilient. And I do like this hero as well here. He's like the bit of the... He has the demonic wings on. He's like... He looks like a gargoyle, right? He's sitting on some church tower and waiting for his next victim. Exactly, Jays, exactly. I approved of your Onivolt and Flow. Big salute to you. Thank you for the sub, man. Really appreciate it. Much fun with the emotes. By the way, the emote that I was talking about from the freeze frame from 2 streams ago, that has finally been greenlit. So you can actually use that now. It's a bit hilarious. Oh, man. So, friends, I know there's still a lot to do here and a lot to look into. I'm not going to close it just yet. Hopefully, we will have a bit more time to get into that later. For now, though, I would actually like to get into taking a look at Wukong. Taking a quick look at Mr. Wukong right here and see if we can cook up something nice for him. Wait, no. Before we do that, let's actually, let me tease you something. Let me tease you the next video that will come up, I think, on Friday. Yes. Let me tease you a little something. A tiny little something that I would like to share because I think this is one of the most ridiculous interactions in the game right now. I have... been getting into... Exactly, that's the new emote, y'all. That's the new emote, exactly. I've been build crafting and theory crafting a little bit on the Hate Incarnon. And I found something that is very, very cool. Let me quickly get into the Incarnon mode to showcase that. Let's activate it and then get our combo multiplier up to 12 times because that is beautiful. So right now, this doesn't look all too strong, right? That doesn't look all too strong just yet. Now, let's take a look at this right here. Should we just delete the entire room with one ranged attack? Oops, that was the wrong attack. Did not want to do a heavy attack. Doesn't work either way. Does work either way. Need to get my combo up again so I have more status chance. Then it would have been a one hit. Let me do that again real quick. Your brain is fried, League, my lord. What? Wukong in 2025? Yeah, why not? So, now let's do that again. One light attack. Everybody's dead. I love this. That's what my next build guide is going to be about. That's kind of Saren style of busted. I really like that. Yo, Sam, what's going on, man? Good to see you. How you holding up, man? I was just flexing a bit my hate Incarnon because I'm gonna make a video on that relatively soon. I really like that. I really like how you can just bada bing bada boom delete the entire room with one ranged melee attack. Would you say Kullervo is broken gilded? Oh no, not really. Kullervo has a lot of damage output, that's for sure. But he doesn't get enough overguard to be truly broken in terms of where he has the broken survivability on top of the broken damage output. So I think Kullervo is a jolly good frame up to, you know, Temporal Archimedia types of difficulty levels, but not really that much beyond, because at that point the overguard will start being an issue. So I would just say he's a really, really, really strong frame. Hate Incarnon, you're for bullying the zealot, really? I mean, I'm a hate fan. I have a little bit of a hate Riven going on. The Riven is not too good that I have on the hate, actually. You never try. You're just playing wrong. What? Hey, Leo. I mean, Kullervo is great, right? I'm not gonna deny that. With enough strength, you can get like what, up to 50,000 overguard. So yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, not gonna deny that. Bulksu was good. No one pushing. Just tried to still very far from Steel Path. Only mastering that. Don't feel bad about it. Everybody, you know, plays at their own pace. It's all good. Gambling time on the Riven, Cephalon Billy. You know the problem with the Riven is that loading screen. The problem with the Riven is that it's actually pretty good. Right, this is unrolled. Crit damage, melee damage on the hate. This is a pretty darn good Riven. This is a very good Riven. I do like it. I kind of don't want to invest Kuva because it's going to cost me a ton to get something better on this. So I'd rather just keep it at that for now. Exactly Potassium, isn't it? That unrolled is kind of crazy. That is kind of crazy. What, with 0 rolls, raise the LMG? Exactly. Yep, I got lucky with that one. Let me just fool around a little bit. Let's just go over. Where do we have it? Let's just go over the Rivens that I personally think are pretty decent. I have this one right here. Kind of like that. Exceltra against Grenier, having faction damage and crit damage at the same time. That's nice. 54 rerolls. Tiburon, not necessarily that much meta anymore, so meh. Gurkata, Bratton. This one's pretty cool. I like this one. I have that on the Bratton and Karnon. Really like it. Also get some good numbers because the Bratton is not so popular. Corinth, great Riven. Not all that great of a weapon anymore, unfortunately. Was a big fan of the Corinth like a couple of years ago. Amprex, same with the Amprex. I bought this one for 500 platinum back in the day when the Amprex was still the #1 meta rifle in the game, right? Quasi, can the same as hate in Karnon's range melee be achieved with a crit heavy Zaw using Exodia Contagion, or is it entirely dependent on the Incarnon activation? The same cannot be achieved with the Exodia Contagion, but that is not because of the projectile. Like, you can shoot out a projectile with the Exodia Contagion as well, right? That's not the issue. But the reason why it was clearing the room so fast is coming from the Burning Hate augment that is hate exclusive. I'm gonna talk more about the interaction and how exactly it works in the video that I'm about to upload in 1 or 2 days. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a good Exodia Contagion is gonna be a good result, but it's not gonna be as strong probably. Quanta, I don't know why I have that. Flux Rifle. I have that on the Tenet Flux Rifle. That's actually a pretty good one. On the Tenet Flux Rifle is pretty good. I like it. What else have we got? Carrick. On my Kuva Carrick, it's alright. Oh, this I have on the Latron Incarnon. So it's pretty good. Then I have a Stradivar Riven because I like the Stradivar, but the Stradivar is just not that good of a weapon, unfortunately. Convectrix, I very much do like that. Boltor, this is also, I think this is as close to a God roll as you can get. I think this is as close to a God roll as you can get. Yo, Anos, what's going on? You just did Deep Archimeda today and you kept dying all the time. Well, that is unfortunate. Was it your first Archimeda? Was it your first Archimeda? Because that happened to all of us, right? When you first do an Archimeda, you eat dirt and you eat dirt hard. Don't be disappointed. You're gonna get there, trust me. Arcanese, you have a Riven quest to finish with a defense without the objective taking damage. How do you do that? First of all, the question would be, do you have to do it solo? Or does the Riven say, you have to do it solo? Because if you can do it in a team, then ask in the recruit chat if somebody can help. I would personally recommend going with Limbo and put the Limbo bubble around the objective, then go in with a team, and, you know, this way it makes sure that you're going to be all right. So yeah, I don't want to go through all the Rivens right here, just to show a couple of my favorite ones. Honestly, my Riven gallery is not all that amazing compared to other people. And before we go, it's solo. Okay, it is solo. Okay, if you have to do a solo defense without the objective taking damage, then I think that's going to be tough. That's definitely going to be tough. Yeah, I would probably just use a Riven Cypher for that. Not going to lie. just get a Veiled Riven Cypher and use that, or sell the Riven off, or exchange it for something else. You can certainly do that, right? But I think it's too much of a... I wouldn't want to bother. Ancient Healers. The problem is, Lobster, the moment the target gets hit one time, it's already mission failed. It's not about taking too much damage, it's about taking damage in the first place. Gara works well for that challenge, John. Yeah, Gara might work well, that's true. You could go for an Infested defense on Ares, because Infested don't necessarily have that many ranged units, and then just make a Gara wall around it or something. Or Zephyr could also work. You use Zephyr, put the 3 on and stand on top of it. Also works, but I still think it's going to be a bit sweaty. I still think it's going to be a bit sweaty, and I would rather just still use a Riven Cypher. But before we go in now, I need to do a quick bathroom break. I will be right back, and then we will take a look at Mr. Wukong and see what we can cook up for him. Don't go anywhere, because I'm going to send Clem after you, and he will do unspeakable things to you. And I'll be back in 2 minutes. And back we are. And back we are. Warframe in game, there we go. That is the scene that I'm looking into. Clam. Exactly, Corey. Exactly, Corey. Just get that clam going. Good, friends. Let's now cook up some Wukong, shall we? Let's just cook up some Wukong, shall we? Teacup, yes, exactly. Teacup, that's that. Okay, let me see what we got here. So, just to briefly get into, I would like to have two different builds to showcase on Wukong. One would be focused on the Celestial Twin, see what we can still do with it after the nerfs. And then one Exalted build. I think that's going to be the two most interesting ones. Let's quickly go over the skills again because I don't remember everything of it. Sure, the passive gives you some more lives. That makes sense. Let's just call this an Exalted build. I think cooking up an Exalted is going to be the easier challenge, so we go for that first. Never talk to what his face with the horrible deal. What? Lobster? What? King Kong Mob Barley? No, not King Kong. More like... Yeah, nah, I think King Kong is more bulky. So, Celestial Twin makes sense. Health modifier, boosted damage, fine. Cloudwalker. I think Cloudwalker, the great thing about Cloudwalker is that it heals you. And you can use it for spy missions to get through the lasers, if I'm not mistaken, without triggering the alarm. So, it's cool for mobility, for spy, and you get a bit of healing out of it. Gotta be real though, I think if you go for a purely Exalted build, this is probably what you're going to helminth over, right? Because it's not going to help you in combat all that much. This one is going to give you armor, so that's cool. This one is your Exalted, so you can't go over that. And to be fair, the Celestial Twin is also too convenient for me to really want to get rid of it. We could try it. We could try to get rid of the Twin. But in my opinion, to me, it feels like Cloudwalker is probably going to be the one that I'm going to be ditching for the Exalted build. Untitled, welcome to the stream. Chat, what do we think, chat? Should we type 1 in chat if it's better to subsume over the 1 in an Exalted build, and type 2 if you think it's better to subsume over the 2. Just want to hear your opinion on that. Slam. I mean, I don't want a lobster. I don't want to necessarily go into a Slam build just yet because Slam is going to get reworked. Subsume Defy. Why Defy is going to give you armor? Armor is decent, right? So we see a whole lot of 1s and 2s. That didn't help, friends. That didn't help. Naira Mods and Jam. And the thing is, sure, making a Slam build now is nice, but the mechanics are going to change in June, so it's just a couple of weeks until that would not be true. So I'd rather just not talk about it and then make a video on the Slam changes in general once they go live. I think the video is not going to have a lot of longevity if I talk about Slam in that video now. Already has been reworked? What? The Slam rework was with the Yareli update? Really? Wait, let me double check that. Where is that? No, I also think that Slam hasn't happened yet, right? Because the higher you get, the more damage and bigger radius. Yeah, exactly. The higher you get, more damage, bigger radius. That's the idea behind the new Slam. But yeah, let me first try to get an idea of the whole stats in general. Let me also take a look at the Exalted staff here. Corrosive, poison, cheap, whatever. I think I could just delete everything here because these are all old builds and they would probably all deserve a new look. So let's just clear that up. And get also rid of the names here. So, which stats are we dealing with here? His 4 is basically melee influence. Wet. Nukem, what's going on? Welcome. High duration melee dexterity. How do you intently remove? You just put a right click on it. Swap it in. Right click is gone. So, what do we have here? We have slash and impact. Mostly impact, which is meh. Status, crit, it's both decent. Range 3.5 meters, pretty good. Follows 100%. Ooh, I forgot about that, friends. 100%. Oh, buddy, I do smell a good old... What was it? Melee Vortex. I want to try that. I want to try Melee Vortex build first. With 100% follow through, we're going to try that. That's something that is too tasty to not try it. And of course, if we have 100% follow through, then that means we can go for primed reach because we're not going to lose damage from it, right? And then, yeah, we're going to go for a combo. Blood Rush. Weeping Wounds. Where is it? That's some pretty standard stuff, first of all. So you will pull them and go with Magnetic. Protogen, yes, we're going to go with Magnetic. I'm not sure, though, if I should put Magnetic on the staff or if I should just put Magnetic on the companion. Because, you know, his combo has a pull. Really? The combo has a pull? I think we should go to the Simulacrum to continue this build so we can actually try stuff out. Let's do that.
You are a true hunter. Where would the sanctuary be without you?
Yeah, sure. Elemental damage. We're not going to forget about that. I just want to make sure that I, you know, have the basic mechanics understood before I start crafting any builds. The 4th basic hit. Okay. Let's see then. Let's switch that thing on. 4th basic hit has a pull. Not on the normal combo. Not on the forward combo. Maybe on the block combo. I don't see a pull. How do I get the pull? Basic forward combo, but it's not pulling anything. Do I need to mod more range? I don't see any pull. Forward combo. I've also tried the forward combo. So I hold down forward and I combo. Oh, that was the... Okay, it did not do that beforehand. Let me mod more range. Does more range change that? Does more range increase that? Let's check that. Where is that? Let's put some more range onto him and see if that affects the range for the pull. I mean, the range is not all that great. It's like what? It's like 7 meters. 5, 6, 7 meters. Let's see how much range we can get out of it with Melee Vortex again. Melee Vortex is 18 meters. I think that's still pretty cool. I think that's still something worth trying. Let's see the difference. Is the range of the Staff Lobster? Okay. I need to take out an enemy, right? Yeah, maybe I should lower the enemy level then, because we still not really have anything modded here. So let's make him level 30 or something, and then go with the With the bombard. Boom, boom. Simulate them. Necros Prime build, young chip. When? I'm gonna have to do that. I agree. Come on, melee vortex trigger, please. Yeah, like if melee vortex triggers, it's pretty hilarious. Like with 100% follow through in specific. I think this is gonna be something that I will try out in the Steel Path mission once it is fully built, because I genuinely think it could be hilarious. But it's probably also not what you want to go for on a day-to-day basis, right? No one, how's it going? Well, we're doing all right here. We're testing out a little bit of stuff with Wukong, see what he can do, see what we can come up with, maybe some creative ideas here. Other than that, everything pretty basic, pretty simple. How about you? You forgot how exactly it worked, but with the second you don't need primed reach. His range scales with elements or something. Okay. Okay. I mean, technically, if we go for melee vortex and pull the enemy in anyway, we might not need primed reach. Because, you know, we're going to have 3.5 meters anyway. That's enough if we pull them towards us. I'm just going to leave it on for the time being. Let's just theory craft a build with this, basically. So what we would do here is we would go for a faction damage mod. We would go for crit damage. With galvanized steel, of course. And then we might be able to get primed fever strike in and then... No, let's go for molten impact and an elementalist mod. Boom. Let me try that. Let me try how much damage this deals. If we just go for pure heat, damage over time against Grenier. Why are Spy Swordies more toxic than... Oh, Bob Barley. Ooh, Spy. Yeah, that's... Yeah. What should I say? Okay, let's build up the combo and then make the enemies higher level. So we can actually see how much damage it does. Staff gains reach for each combo level. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, this does not look all that great just yet. Probably because we don't have ability strength on our Wukong, right? Base damage is just pretty ass. So how much range exactly does the staff gain per combo level? What's the maximum range? Let's take a look at the wiki, shall we? Let's take a look at what the wiki says about it. Maybe that's gonna clear up some... Opera, can you please shut up? I don't want to browse it with freaking sound. That'd be nice. Let me quickly go into that window here, which is, of course, not going to... There we are. There we are. Let's take a look at Wukong. Let's take a look at his abilities, especially his fourth, and see how much range we get. His Iron Staff increases 0.5 meters per combo level, capping at plus 5.5. Oh, okay. Okay, so we're looking at a total of 9 meters without reach mod. That's crazy. I did not know that. So yeah, that means we're definitely going to get rid of primed reach. That would be overkill, right? If you already have 9 meters, you don't need to make it into 12. So that's pretty cool. Then ability synergy when activating Primal Fury with Celestial Twin will also equip the... Guess what? Wow, that's great. We don't care about that. Wukong cannot replenish energy. Yeah, we do know that because it is a channeled ability. Primal Fury's energy drain is not converted into shields. That's basic stuff. That's basic stuff. 20 meters? Hey, one of the plus reach and spring-loaded blades? 20 meters. Does it go through walls too? Hey yo, Joey, Cookie Wukong, like, so yes, we do that. We're just theory crafting on a range for the staff. So you're saying that if we go for spring-loaded blade and primed reach and a 12 times combo multiplier, we're gonna have 20 meters? Let me see. Well, I don't have spring-loaded blades. What is that? Spring-loaded blade. Do I not have that? I do not have that. I do not have that. Plus 1 range for 24 seconds on status effect, stacks up to 2 times. So plus 2 range. But how would you get to 20 meters? How would you get to 20 meters? You have a base of 3.5. You get 5.5 on top with the 12 times combo multiplier, so you're at 9. Then you put that on, so you're at 12. And then 2 from spring-loaded blades would be 14. How do you get to 20? Lobster, how would you get to 20? Salty, the Stalta. We talked about the Stalta earlier. I made a little showcase with the multiplicative gun condition overload shenanigans. The Stalta is a very, very strong weapon. If you have a Riven for it, I would keep it. It's a good gun. Moog, what? Is it really you? Is it really you? Let me see. Is that your real Twitch or is it just someone fanboying for you? No, it's the real you. Hey, it's the real you. I didn't know that your Twitch username had the triple G, man. Welcome to the stream. Let me give you a quick shout out. If you wanna know a lot about Wisp and Stalta, then check Mr. Moog out.
Mouse locked.
When it comes to the Stalta, there's probably no better source to go to. But yeah, basically, oh, you're welcome, man. How's it going, by the way? How's it going? We're just, theory crafting some Wukong
Mouse
stuff.
unlocked.
Stalta, exactly. How many A's can you put in the chat with the Stalta? How long can you make the Stalta? Yeah, but Lobster, I'm not 100% sure how you get to 20 meters on the staff. But by the way, I think we do not need 20 meters on the staff anyway. I think it's fine if we leave reach
MLG
out.
commentator starting now. As I was saying, I think it is perfectly fine if we just leave reach out because we're already going to be at a 9 meter radius on the staff once we reach that 12 times combo multiplier. How should I do an MLG commentator when there's no gameplay going on? Y'all hate me. Why didn't you go for ASMR? Moog is saying you tried Blast and Stalter yesterday without a Riven and you got damage cap. Was kinda sick, actually. Well, that sounds like you're going to the last round of the tournament already. That's actually cool. Blast. So did you group up the enemies? Yeah, probably, right? You wouldn't go Blast on single target. Wisp and Roar. Yeah, I mean, Roar. You could put Roar on everything and you can never go wrong, right? But yeah, we were talking about the Stalta earlier as an example from multiplicative gun CO, and it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, back to Wukong, by the way. Back to Wukong. I think we do not need reach because we're going to get enough range anyway. Sure, more is always nice, especially with 100% follow through, but I think 9 meters is all right, right? I think we might go for more crit damage instead. With, where is Organ Shatter there? That'll be good. I should try Afflictions because the staff... Does the staff trigger Afflictions? Does it count as knockdown? Let me try that. Let me try that. Do we have enemies? No, of course not. Slap Tennokai on. Oh yeah, we're gonna do Tennokai. But like Tennokai is usually, you know, you put that on at the end. Let me first get a grips for what's actually going on. He has an augment that increases crit chance. We're gonna look into that. We're definitely gonna look into that. So let's pull the enemy in. Let's also get the combo up first. Okay. Yeah, let's kill them first and then see if melee afflictions actually work. Probably we should do it with just one enemy around. Let me see. Also with Wukong, the biggest damage up you saw was through Tennokai. The heavy attacks on the staff are really good. Yeah, we're definitely going to try that because, yeah, with the 100% follow through, right, and the big range on the staff, you would probably not lose a lot of damage, right? You would have quite the crowd clearing capabilities without losing the combo with Tennokai, obviously. So they did not have status effects on. Do we have? Oh, it seems to work. He has 7 slash and 7 heat. I'm pretty sure I did not apply that many status effects just through status chance alone, so it kind of looks like it works with melee afflictions. Yeah, 7, 7, 7. So the pull from the staff does work with melee. That's cool. That's cool. That was a very good tip. And you said that the pull from the staff is the range of your melee? We can try that out. Let's get to a 12x combo multiplier and see if it gets bigger. Let's go, it works, Jinfire. Yeah, that was a very good idea. Thanks for sharing. Let's get the combo up. Let's get the combo up and see if that makes the range any bigger. Let's also make sure we don't run out of energy. Do you think the nerf for Wukong was not needed? I think it was needed because AFK farmers were abusing the mechanic, right? Talking about the Celestial Twin ammo nerf thing. I think sure, if you find it funny to have your twin kill everything, it's nice, right? It's nice, but it's also kind of really sweaty to do that. Kind of seems like the pull range does not increase with the melee range, because otherwise we would have more range. Let me see on the wiki. Let's go back to the wiki. What does the wiki say about the range? Or about the pull? Okay, the word pull does not. Oh no, probably here stance, right? So the forward combo has a pull. Why doesn't it say anything about the range of the pull? That is unfortunate. Haven't played Wukong yet, Mythical Wolf. Yeah, for me it's also been a while, so I'm discovering a lot of new stuff here. Definitely discovering a lot of new stuff here. Where can I find like written details on what the pull range on the 4 is? Because somebody earlier said the pull range increases with the melee range, but that does not seem to be the case. So I think I might. I mean, it's so sad like that melee affliction does work, but it seems to be that the pull range is still pretty short. Chat, is there anyone in chat who knows where the pull range from his attack originates? Or if you can do anything other than melee vortex to increase that? When is Volban built? We're gonna get to that. And Photoid, welcome, by the way. Primal Fury mod. Oh, Lobster, Primal Fury. Is that an augment? Wait, Primal Fury.
Clone.
Primal Fury augment mod. Killing an enemy increases crit chance by. Yeah, that's crit chance. We're looking into range for now. Use Vezarin's second ability. 1.3 meters pull and can't be changed by mods. Yeah, I was kind of worried about that, right? It's his stance mod. Yes, exactly, Lobster. Oh, you mean... Yeah, the thing is with the stance mod, the question is, can we manipulate the range on the pull? And it seems like this is not the case. It just seems like it's not the case. It also does not... Where's the forward combo? It... Yeah, I'm kind of confused, right? I'm really like, to me it feels like somebody in chat earlier said you can manipulate or you can increase the pull range, but it seems like you can't. So that person was probably just not having the correct information. And if I'm being honest, right? Melee Afflictions is really cool because it triggers on the pull. But if you can't manipulate the range from the pull, it's kind of ass because the range is absolutely zero, right? And it does apparently not scale with ability range because we have a lot of that. So even though in theory Melee Afflictions would be great, I think it's not the way to go here. I think it's genuinely not the way to go, which is sad because it was a great idea and it even worked. I think Melee Vortex is probably better, right? Sure, you could also go Melee Influence, but that goes without say, obviously. Is there a way to increase the range of Reeve? Stretch only does so much. The range mod gilded on Revenant's Reeve, the range modifies how broad the wall that you're turning into basically is. The distance that you go, that scales with ability duration. And if you go for a lot of range, then actually the width that you're gonna have is pretty good. It's pretty good. I mean, just stretch probably doesn't make that much of a noticeable difference, but if you go stretch and auger reach maybe, or maybe even overextend it, I think you're gonna notice something. Exactly, Juge, or Joj. I hope I didn't butcher it all too much. I think, yeah, also that the pull from the weapon initially is not all that great. Melee Vortex is cool if you're not going with a companion that can pull or a grouping ability in general. I think Melee Vortex, like subjectively speaking, Melee Vortex is such a cool arcane, but it's barely ever used because Melee Influence just dominates absolutely everything. So... that's why I kind of want to do something with it at least. Just at least one different loadout that can do that. Afflictions only works on easy to kill enemies. That's also a thing, good baby. That's also a thing, right? Enemies that can't even be knocked down, not going to get anything out of it. That's the unfortunate thing. Ginfire already have 200 and something % range on it. Didn't do anything for the pull range. Already tried that. Seems like there's nothing we can do about it, unfortunately. Let me try with more crit damage again now. Let's also put some ability strength onto the Mister here. Let's put some strength onto him. Let's see how much damage we're gonna get out of him if we just go with this and that and then flow so we don't instantly run out of energy. Slide attack spam with attack speed. Maybe. Let's get the combo up first. Let's get the combo up. There we go. That's looking pretty good so far. So let's see if we can get some pulls up with Melee Vortex. Take one out. It's nice, but it's also kind of inconsistent. Well, I will have to take a look at it in the. I will have to take a look at it in a mission. But Right now, I'm not that happy with the damage output. I think that there should be more there. I think we should. I don't have a base damage mod. Yeah, that might be it. Why didn't nobody tell me that? Why did nobody say, hey, you're not dealing damage because you're not having a base damage mod onto him? And that's kind of embarrassing. I was so focused on making melee vortex work that I completely forgot to, to use base damage. Maybe that would be something we can try out, huh? Maybe a bit of base damage? Maybe a bit of condition overload? Oh, man. Let's spawn a full batch. Let's go with a full bombard here. Bada bing, bada boom. Do I have the epitaph? Yes, I do have the epitaph. Good. So, yeah, let's try some base damage, shall we? Yeah, I think I'd rather go with base damage. Yeah, I think base damage is a pretty good idea, don't you think, y'all? You can... Oh, shit, I'm still in the wrong window. Oh, my bad. My bad. I am such a bad streamer. Almost as if I don't have a lot of experience with that. It's fine. It happens. Hey, it happens. If you're coming to my streams and expect perfection, then that's honestly, that's on you. If anyone comes to my stream and expects highly perfected streaming experience, no stupid cringe, no nothing, I think then you're just having the wrong expectations. Oh man. Patch note, added a short duration vortex pool at the end of his forward combo when he slams. The floor does not scale with ability strength mods. Ah, Lobster. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the intel. Never expect 100% from any VTuber. Exactly. Yes, I'm a VTuber. My model just looks very realistic. That's the whole thing. So yeah, basically with base damage, as you can see, now you're actually dealing damage, which is good. Which is good. Nightfall, welcome. Welcome, welcome. We're testing out Wukong. My problem with this is that the grouping for melee vortex seems to be a little inconsistent. I'll definitely give it a try and work around that in the future a little bit more. Also want to give him the obligatory melee influence build, of course. We're going to do that too. Just, you know, because it's melee influence, obviously. Then we're going to go with electricity. Boom. And galvanized steel for the crit damage. Condition overload, blood rush, reaping wounds. That's... What else we need here? Oh yeah, we need... speed. Slide attack with ranged. I'm gonna try that. I'm definitely gonna try that. Nautilus Cordon. Yeah, Nautilus Cordon also works. The only thing I don't like about Nautilus is, right, Nautilus is great and all, but the problem with Nautilus is that Nautilus himself decides at which position he wants to group the enemies. And sometimes that just happens to be not so much where you're currently attacking, right? The reason why I'm so dead set on melee vortex is that I would just really like to see a loadout that works very well, that works best with melee vortex. I kind of feel that melee vortex deserves a little bit of love, you know? Oh boy, influence build, exactly. With influence, try Blast Electric and go for like 200%. Oh yeah, Blast, sure. Especially in Simulacrum, right? Blast melee influence is always hilarious. Let's get rid of that then. And then go with the Blast. Let's go with that. We do have the mod capacity for that. Blast Electric is, of course, you know, it's always great on every freaking melee weapon. Even though I think Excalibur kind of sort of has the patent onto Blast melee influence builds. It's still pretty hilarious. I agree, Moog. I agree. It's still pretty hilarious.
The kind of the mob going, oh, I flew exactly, yeah. Sometimes, you know, with Nautilus, sometimes it just bugs the gravity. Like when the grouping works, right, and you're pulling all the enemies together and then you have the blast, that's kind of cool though. That's kind of cool, not gonna lie. I kind of like that. If they were to survive for long enough, that is. So yeah, Blast melee influence is definitely as great on him as on many other Warframes as well. I mean, the status chance of, what is it, 30% at base is definitely pretty good. Yeah, I think Blast is the way to go for melee influence. That's definitely true. You're designing a Revenant Deluxe skin, Gilded. Oh, I'm curious to see that. Damage cap blast it when with Acuity. Oh yeah. You're talking about the Staltar, right? Yeah, if you get the headshot, yeah, that's gonna be pretty hilarious. So that would be the blast influence build, right? We do. Oh no, we don't have a. Wait, we don't have an elementalist mod on this yet. That's kind of unfortunate. Where would we put the elementalist mod on here? Mizuku, welcome. Yeah, probably the best thing I could think of would be like this, but we lose out on a lot of crit chance if we do that. That's kind of ass. And then if we go without Weeping Wounds, we're not going to deal enough blast probably. You could go for like a subzoom with Volt and get the electricity from external, but no. We're not dropping the Smite mod. On a damage over time mod, you want to have Elementalist and the faction damage. Wrathful Advance. True, Flame Dwarf, true. That's a good point. We could just subzoom Wrathful Advance, and that solves the crit problem. And then we can do that. Yeah, that's probably the best way to go. I mean, if you're going for an Exalted build anyway, then Wrathful Advance is probably a safe bet. It's not that useful in influence builds. Conditional. I mean, we could actually, you know, steal a little bit of information from, or steal a couple of ideas from Kai on his recent Exalted build for Excalibur. We could basically go for Steel Charge in the Aura, right? Steel Charge in the Aura giving us base damage, so we can drop Condition Overload. Doesn't give us a lot of base damage, but at least we're having base damage in the first place, right? The important part is that you have at least a bit of base damage. Better than having none at all. I think that might be something. But it's a good point, Moog. It's a good point, right? If you go for Blast melee influence, you're only basically dealing two different elements anyway. And especially for Blast, yeah, right? You want to make sure that you just deal as many Blast procs as possible, because that is where the damage comes from. Just grouping them up and blowing them up. Have you done a Dante build with Verglass? I mean, I've made a video on... Yeah, I think we don't need Condition Overload. Yeah, I don't think we need Condition Overload. I think Steel Charge is more than good enough. I think Steel Charge is enough base damage for this. Of course, only works in high density scenarios, but then again, which Blast build is made for single target, right? No, I think that's probably the way to go for the melee influence Blast one. Kind of still probably need to do some more in-depth testing on melee Vortex off screen. Blast influence. But now that we have two builds for the staff, let's actually look at Mr. Wukong himself here, shall we? Use Arcane Fury for the base. Oh, sure, we could also go Arcane Fury. That's fine. But when it comes to the Arcanes, I think we have a lot of options, actually. I think we have a lot of options. Do Exilus adapters not work with Iron Staff? It does. I just haven't unlocked the Tennokai thingy yet. I can do that. It works.
But I think, for Tennokai, it's just basically you throw it on at the end and it's gonna work anyway. So yeah, I don't necessarily need to look into that right here, right now. By the way, which augments do we have? Our Primal Fury augment. Killing an enemy increases crit chance. I think we want that. Increases crit chance by 15%. The increase decays by 1% per second. Okay. Is there a cap to it? Is there a cap for Primal Rage? 150%? What does the wiki say? Yes, 150%. Okay. Is that multiplicative or is that just additive to modded crit chance? Because honestly, if this just works like modded crit chance on the staff, that would be kind of meh, right? Because you're gonna get 440% from Blood Rush, so 150 more. I don't think that's worth the mod slot if that's just additive to Blood Rush. Blah blah blah. Damage cap. Found it for you, Blacky. This has copyrighted music. Don't watch it because YouTube. Thanks, Moog, for the heads up. Yeah, I'm very careful with reacting to stuff on stream. I haven't even watched a single video or anything on stream just yet because I think on my first stream I raided No Sympathy at the end, and I typed in the raid command and then started the raid, right? And what happened is he had some rock music in his stream playing, and I pressed the go offline button in my OBS a couple seconds too late, and there were 3 seconds of his background music that ended up at the last 3 seconds on my stream. And YouTube was instantly, no, copyrighted material, no, demonetized. I was like, shut the fuck up. So yeah, definitely appreciate the warning, Moog. Oh, man. Yeah, this was exactly the reason why I stopped streaming on YouTube and went, yeah, Moog, that definitely makes sense. I mean, I'm happy that on most things, right, with Twitch, with YouTube, on most things nowadays, you just get demonetized and you can just cut it out and then it's fine afterwards. There was a time where you would get instantly channel striked when you have anything like that, so that was kind of ass. But yeah, I mean, the thing with YouTube streaming is I think it's easy to just, multi-stream if you have the internet speed for that, because you know it as well, Moog, right? You also have a ever-growing YouTube audience, so I just think it's cool because some people simply prefer to watch on YouTube, right? And that's why I do it. But overall, yeah, I also think that Twitch in general is the superior streaming platform by far. Right? When people pull up those statistics and say, oh no, YouTube is actually much more successful and they have so many more watch hours in 2024 and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, brother, that's because mainstream news outlets and TV stations and everything use YouTube to stream their program and they don't use Twitch for that. But when it comes to specifically gaming content, I don't think that YouTube is getting even close to what Twitch is pulling. So yeah, that's my 2 cents for that. Yeah, YouTube, exactly, Rexpurge. YouTube is good for VODs. But then again, I think my VODs are not that interesting. I think most people just don't watch them, and that's perfectly fine. Some random TV in a dentist's office leaving YouTube. Exactly, Joe, isn't it like that? Exactly. When I watch the news in the morning, I also don't watch it on the actual TV station. I just make a coffee and watch it on YouTube. That, by the way, for everybody who's been asking, nobody has been asking, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The reason why I drink coffee and watch news in the morning is because I like the flavor of coffee, and the news is what gets the blood pumping. It's not the coffee.
It's the news. The coffee is just for the flavor. But yeah, Primal Rage is Primal. I wanted to double check. Is Primal Rage additive or multiplicative? For example, where do we go? The critical chance bonus is additive with crit chance mods. For example, a max rank True Steel and Primal Rage bonus at 150% will have... Yeah, okay, that's ass. that's garbage. Oh, we're not going to do that. Not going to do that. Bro's body is not adapted to caffeine, but the news. Exactly. Bockard. Can try the Unbuild Intensify for the 90 strength and the 4th ability. The Precision Intensify, right? Yeah, I was thinking about maybe actually doing that. I was not sure if I want to have strength on the 3 maybe for the armor. But I think Precision Intensify is actually the way to go here. Also needs less mod space, so that's good. But I probably have too many of those depolarities here anyway. Exactly, Joe. Yeah, Blood Rush has made it obsolete. So that augment is pretty ass. You're not going to go with that. 150%. If it was multiplicative, then we would be talking. So what else? Do we have other augments that we might want to look into here? Oh, that was not what I wanted to click. I have an augment for the Cloud Walker. Allies within 4 meters of the cloud become invisible to enemies for 14 seconds. Wait a minute. Wait a minute, friends. Let's that was not what I wanted to do. Wait a minute, friends. Let's quickly take a look. Or not. Let's take a look at that. Enveloping cloud kind of looks... I mean, if it makes allies invisible, does that mean you go invisible as well? Does that mean you could just tap your cloud and then you are invisible for 14 seconds as well? Because if yes... Mouse unlocked. That'd be pretty cool. You could use Arcane Crepuscular. Like, whenever... It's so stereotypical with me. Like, whenever anything looks even remotely invisible, I'm like... Do I smell Arcane Crepuscular potential? Wiki would know. Let's take a look. Duration is affected by duration. Cool. Ranges don't care about range. I just want to have it for myself. Screw the team. What have they ever done for me? Duration cannot be refreshed. However, allies within the cloud's radius will have their times paused. Okay. I think it does apply to yourself, right? Where do I get this from? Which syndicate? Arbitus of Hexes. Oh, we can actually get that, can't we? And New Loca. Yeah, fuck New Loca. They smoking too much of that Cali stuff. Let's get back to the game before I forget. I want to have that augment. I want to try it. It says Wukong himself is not affected. Really, I must have overread that. Where does it say that? Oh, the following characters are not affected. Wukong himself. Ah, too bad. Yeah, let's not get that augment then. Screw the team. They can get their own. They can bring their own invisibility. I'm not going to help them. Duh. I'm not going to waste one of my mods just to help some pesky teammates. That would have been too cool if he could get invisible himself. 8 bullet, 3 hours 30 in the video. Ooh. Do you also have that decree that makes you run faster? Because I'm pretty sure it's unplayable at that point then. So yeah, that basically means he does not have any interesting augments. He has no interesting augments. The augment for his 2 doesn't work for himself. The augment for his 4 is ass. What's the augment for his 1 doing? Celestial Twin augment. Hold to command the twin to perform a slam attack, suspending enemies in the air within 20 meters. Is that good? Chat, is that good? Is Celestial Stomp any useful? By the way, I love how the wiki displays the mod exactly under my camera.
Demiario, you have a question. You recently gotten a steel path, but you do little to no damage. You MR40, never touch a prime weapon at all. I think you might want to take a look at my video called How to 10 times your damage in Warframe, how to 10x your damage, because I go over like easy to more difficult, step-by-step instructions as to how you can increase your damage. It's normal if you start out with Steel Path, you start to hit a brick wall and you're going to die instantly and you're not going to deal any damage. That's perfectly normal. That's the Steel Path experience for everybody who just got into it. I would recommend just, if you have a couple minutes, take a look at the video. It's probably going to have some helpful tips for you in terms of how to increase damage overall. For the first ability augment, does the twin use modded weapon? I think the twin does use your modded weapon. Rhino Stomp is better. Yeah, full effect. If Rhino Stomp was not better than this, it would be kind of cringe, not gonna lie. I think Rhino Stomp is a very expensive to cast ability for what it does, the way it already is, right? So I'm not sure. I think we're just gonna go without any. Where are we? Warframe in game. I think we're gonna go without any freaking augments at all. I think we don't need that. What we should do though is talk about survivability. That's what we should do. We should talk about survivability. When you use melee, he's firing the gun and vice versa, Lobster. Okay. Yeah, I think generally having the clone is not a bad idea. I think you could give him like the epitaph as a primer. Why don't we just test it out, right? Why don't we just test it out? Put the stall tower away. I'm sorry, Moog. Please don't hurt me. And just leave him with the epitaph. And then see. Oh no, when we pull out the 4, he also does that. Didn't it say that? When we pull out the 4, he's also going to go with the 4. So him having a gun does not do anything when we have the 4 out, which means we can't use him as a primer. So that's not that great. That's not that great. Does he deal decent damage at least? Let me see what he does to the enemies. If I just summon him and then say, do your thing, bruh. Do your thing, brother. Just attack him and do something. Yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing. But I would much rather do that myself. I can prime him a little bit. And then... Yeah, the problem here, I think, is not the damage output. I think the damage output is actually fine on paper. The problem is that the AI kind of seems to think that he needs to switch targets after every hit. And then he... Like, the problem with the AI here is... Can I just get rid of him? Perfect. The problem with the AI here is, right, instead of just continuing to attack, the AI just goes and be like, ha! 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 You know what I mean? And that kind of sucks. That is not good. Yeah, I think for everybody saying I should subzoom over the 1 on an exalted melee build, I kind of get where you come from now. I kind of get where you're coming from. Dezen is melee crescendo good. You got 2 of them for Netrocells instead of shards. First of all, big F for not getting shards. I know how it feels, man. You're not alone in this. Melee crescendo though is pretty good. You can get some use out of it. It's not necessarily all that fundamentally amazing anymore as it was when it first came out, but it's still pretty good. You can switch weapons when the staff is turned on. Yes, I can switch weapons, but the companion apparently does not do that. AI is stupid most. Exactly, Protogen. Yeah, the AI is not... That's, by the way, also why I like Venari from Korra so much, because... With Venari, you can just command Venari to fucking attack that enemy, and it will do that, which is something that most companions seem to be incapable of.
Exactly, Moog. Exactly. Have you seen my video on Valkyr that I put out like 2-3 weeks ago with Venari? Because I think the fact alone, not Valkyr, Korra. I think the fact alone that you can just, where's my Venari build? Wisp? No. Cheap? No. Where the heck is my Venari build? Ah, God, I should freaking... No, that's not the Venari build. That's not the Venari build. Was that the Venari? No, that was Pilfering Strangledome. That was Breach Surge, what I tried. Yeah, never mind. Let's just go with that for the showcase. The fact alone that you can just spawn an enemy and say, yo, Venari, kill him. And then Venari will just do that, and everybody else dies, is just so ridiculous. Can you imagine any other companion in the game where you can just tap a button and it will actually do shit? Without you having to wait for stupid AI to, get going? I really like this. You seen it, you made one yourself. Oh, you made one yourself, okay. To buffer further with the theorem. Wait, aren't those theorem arcanes those that... Wait. I have theorem arcanes. I swear to God, I have never ever used a theorem arcane on anything because, like, when they came out, I think most players don't even know these things exist because, like, the description looks so convoluted and so scary to get through, and it looks so specific. I was always thinking there's probably one perfect synergy on one Warframe with something where if you use the right theorem arcane, it's gonna be amazing. But I never bothered to actually look into it. I'm gonna be totally real. I never bothered to actually look into it. But I should check that out, man. I should check that out. 306% MLM damage on Venari is insane. Yes, I bet that. New player here, first time hearing of these. Exactly, Degaro, exactly. Where do you get them? Fun fact, Degaro, I don't even know. I have them all at the max rank because when they came out, I was already in the Warframe Creator Program, and back in the day, they would give new arcanes at the max rank out to creators. Nowadays, you only get them at the rank 0. But back in the day, they would give you new arcanes at max rank. And I think it had something to do with demos, if I'm not mistaken. They're pretty old already. But yeah, I just got them from the Warframe Creator Program. I looked at the description. I was like, what the fuck? And then I just let them run in the inventory. Deimos vaults. Okay, Deimos vaults. Thanks, Protogen. So they are from the isolation vaults in Deimos. I get it. Okay. Oh, 2 times Tenacious Bond unless they change that. Oh, Barrington, because of Venari, you mean it stacks... Does it stack twice as much? Does it give you plus 2.4 times then? If you have Venari plus another companion? I think it should, right? I haven't tested it. They're for kit. Yeah, they're also for kit guns, yes. Easily with Vosper for the Deimos collection. It drops encumber to... Oh, that's good, Moog. That's good to know. That's a good tip. Yeah, the whole Vosper thing is like a real blessing, especially if you hate Eidolons with a passion as much as I do. They're good. Like, Vosper is a good resource. I like it. But let's get back to Wukong for a second. I still want to give the man a little bit of survivability. Archon Vitality should work with a heat staff, right? Because the staff is an ability. Does it double heat procs? Kind of looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it. Good. So, Archon Vitality it is. But we could also go double Umbral. I think double Umbral would actually make more sense. But I don't want to put a freaking Umbra form on this. Kiyosaki on first time on stream. Love the vids. Thank you so much.
Happy that you like them. Happy that they help you out. And welcome to the stream, by the way. You never touched Eidolon, yeah. Saikuta, I've done a few Eidolon hunts. I've done a couple Tridolons, but I never really enjoyed it. I just do not enjoy boss fights against creatures that are so tall that you can't even fit them on screen, while at the same time just blasting visual effects like crazy on your screen and shaking the screen. I just do not like these types of mechanics, which is also why I think that the Exploiter Orb is much nicer to play boss fight than the Prophet Taker. Even though I know that a lot of people don't like the Exploiter Orb, I think it's a good boss fight. I think it has some fun mechanics. But yeah, probably I should put an Umbra Forma onto him, so I can go with Umbral Vitality and Umbral Fiber for health and armor. I don't think that he would make for a good shield tank. I mean, you can get some shield out of him, sure. But I think he wants to be more like a health tank, right? Most Eidolon hunts are toxic. I'm not sure, Revenant, if all or most Eidolon hunts are toxic, but I know that that the only place where I happen to experience toxicity on a larger scale were Eidolon hunts. So my statement for that would be that if you're searching for toxicity, you're probably going to find it in Eidolon hunts easier than in most other content. That's probably true. Yo, veteran, you need to get your corrupted mods. Well, that is something you should try because I think corrupted mods are pretty important. Hope you get some good drops out of them. It's weird to say that you have 1,000 hours in the game and never done Exploiter Orb. Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. I have, what do I have? 2,000, 2,500, which is not a lot for a Warframe creator, by the way, but I still haven't done a couple things. Like, I think I only ever played 3 matches of Conclave. I've never played a match of Lunaro because I didn't find a single player. So yeah, it's always about which types of content you enjoy and whatnot. Umbra should go for health tank or for shield. I think Umbra should ideally go for invisibility. Kai has found a pretty nice synergy where you go basically for shield gating. You should check out Kai's video on that, by the way. But if you don't want to do that, I think invisibility is also a nice option on Excalibur because, if you want to tank higher levels of Steel Path, then neither shield tanking nor health tanking is really going to do it. You know what I mean? Go doing damage, Brutus. You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? First of all, I'm going to give him an Omniforma right here because I think we don't need 3D polarities. What we do need is adaptation, and then we're going to go with an Umbral Vitality, an Umbral Fiber right here, which does not fit. How perfect. Now what we could do is this. We're going to do a little bit different. We're going to go with Equilibrium for the energy. We're going to go with Umbral Fiber. Where's my Umbral Fiber? There. Umbral Fiber. We're going to go with... What else do we have in terms of strength? Not a lot. We can just do that. And 2 blue shards for energy or 3 from... I was thinking about maybe energy conversion snapshots onto the Exalted. Really? Energy conversion snaps on... I always thought that Exalted weapons do not snapshot buffs. Like, for example, if you were to use the Grimoire strength buff, right? Then Exalteds do not snapshot, if I'm not mistaken. So, curious to see that energy conversion does that. Unfortunately, doesn't fit right now. I think for the leveling run, this will just have to do. I think for the leveling, this will just have to do. It's not going to take all that long. It's not going to take all that long. Umbra mod don't work with Omniforma. That's true, Sonic. That's true. I have not added the Omniforma for the Umbra mod. But what it does do is, right, what I did do here is, the Omniforma, I use that because you can always make use of it, but at least you don't get negative. You don't go into the negative if you put the Umbra mod onto it. If you put the Umbra mod here, it's going to cost more. Here, at least you're not going to lose anything. And, you know, having an Omniforma is always good, especially if you want to go for multiple different build approaches. So I'm probably going to pop an Umbral into here later. But first of all, let me level the man up a little bit. Hey, what is a solid way of making platinum? You're debating selling prime mods or selling arcanes. Which would be the most... Ooh, in 2025, I would have to take a look at it. Let me quickly go into a into a quick Sanctuary Onslaught. Shouldn't take too long. Get it to max level. I think one of the most convenient ways to go is to simply run relics and sell whatever you get out of them. But I would have to do some more research on to what is the quote-unquote meta way to make platinum this year. It's been a while that I made a guide on it, so I would have to look into that. Yo, Dystopia, what's going on? You've been in a 2-hour meeting, you're mentally exhausted, ready to fall asleep. Well, then you're in the perfect stream for that. We are building Wukong. We're happy that you're out of your meeting now. I really should have used Elite Sanctuary Onslaught. Fuck that. We're gonna go Elite. Sell fish for plat? Fought fish for plat? Really? Why does Kai use Steel Charge as an aura for Excalibur? Because Steel Charge gives base damage, and on his Exalted Blade, he did mod for base damage. So the base damage portion for his Exalted Blade comes from the aura. He doesn't need that much base damage on his build. I think that's actually a pretty clever way, which is exactly the reason why I did that on Wukong here. Like, there are some builds where you don't need tons of base damage because the strength is going to come from other sources. And in those cases, Steel Charge is actually pretty good.
Dispatch as many specimens as efficiently as possible. When the time comes, I will open.
Yo, veteran, why Wukong? Because I wanted to make a Wukong build next week. And I want to do some build testing on him, right? I have never really made a dedicated Wukong video, and people are constantly asking about it, so I thought, you know, why not just do it? And that's why we're testing some stuff here. That's why we're cooking him, why we're seeing what we can build here, and that's why I'm in the Sanctuary Onslaught right now, just quickly leveling him up. So the good thing about Exalted frames with Exalted weapons is you can just, you know, take out everything and level them up really quickly. Arcane Fury plus Corrosive Projection is a stronger combo. Arcane Fury plus... Yes, that's true. That's true. And maybe I will end up actually going for the Arcane Fury. But like, for the Arcanes, there are so many options nowadays. So that I rather take a look at the Arcanes. Like, how should I put this? When I start crafting a build, then usually I want to start looking at the arcanes without being forced to use a certain one in the first place, right? I don't want to get into the Warframe build crafting knowing that one of the arcane slots will already have to be dedicated to a weapon damage arcane. Maybe at the end I come to the conclusion that going for a weapon damage arcane is the best way, but, you know, I'd rather be open to options first. Yeah, probably I should have switched my Bane mod for something infested here. Not that I knew what the first faction would have been. Energize kind of fell off. I think Energize still has a place. But you're right. You know, Equilibrium really does a lot of good stuff. Equilibrium does great work. As a Mastery 17 player, what weapon and frame should you build for a Steel Path? Oh, that's a tough question because a lot of frames and weapons are pretty good at Steel Path. It mainly comes down to which types of upgrades you have access to, right? Ouch.
This guy leads a little bit of armor. DE secretly watching Blacky, time to send in the Blitz Eximus. Exactly, yeah. It's like, oh no, Blacky is streaming. Let's give him some good old Blitz Eximus because the boy loves them so much. Trumna Prime. I think Trumna Prime is not underrated. I think it's a very good weapon. We'll have to go for another one, won't I? Energy, yeah, full effect. I think, I don't know, like, with Energy Nexus, the thing is, and that's something that I don't understand on a lot of YouTube builds, right? You will see a lot of builds on YouTube where people are just using Energy Nexus as their sole energy source, and they're not using Nourish as a subsume. And they're like, yeah, that will be enough energy income for this caster frame who spams 50 gajillion abilities per second. And I never understand how that's supposed to work. Like, how are you supposed to get enough energy out of a 3 energy per second thing for a spammy ability caster? Like, I don't know how that's supposed to work. To me, Energy Nexus is great if you combine it with a Nourish subsume, because then you're going to get a lot of energy out of it. But then it also only works on frames that don't have an exalted weapon, because, you know, Energy Nexus doesn't work on exalted weapons. So I think Energy Nexus is great, but I don't think it's as great as some people think it is, if that makes any sense. Yeah, if your Warframe runs high efficiency, that works, true. But I genuinely seen quite some builds where people just run Blind Rage, negative efficiency, Energy Nexus, no Nourish, and they're like, yeah, Energy Nexus is going to be your source of energy. And then I'm like, where is your Equilibrium? Where's your Arcane Energize? You're telling me that 3 energy per second is going to be enough for a non-Nourish 45% efficiency Warframe? I don't think so. You have Eclipse on your Umbra, but sometime BS happens and it won't do the shield gate. The best choice for 1 hour endless run with Excalibur. Like, if your Excalibur is too squishy, then I would genuinely recommend maybe looking into Side 09 Subsume for the invisibility. If you're not tanky enough, then invisibility might be an option. From your experience with Energy Nexus, you use it always have an infinite energy for boss battles where there's no enemy spawning, but that was a lot. Yeah, I mean, that definitely makes sense. Oh, I don't have energy anymore. Now that we're talking about it. No, that makes definitely makes sense. But then the question is, why don't you go for Xeneric? Because Xeneric gives you 5 energy per second, which is technically better. Sure, you might go for a different focus school, and that's perfectly fine too. But I think there are a lot of options, and Energy Nexus is not like the only thing to go for. But now we at least modded him. We leveled him. So that would be the Omniforma. Up next, let's give him an Umbral. Not on the staff. No, we're not going to put an Umbral on the staff. Let's give him an Umbral for the fiber. No, wait a second. We could go for Arcane Reaper. That gives us armor and health regeneration, so we're not relying on the heal from R2. That could be something, in which case we might not need... Oh no, we can make use of that armor anyway. Yeah, we're gonna give him... Yeah, come on, let's just give the brother an Umbral, shall we? Bam. That's what I want to see. Yo, Fiercebrig, what's going on? Welcome to the stream.
Oh, yes. I also think that Excalibur should have an heirloom, just because he's Mr. Poster Boy, right? It's the battle of me every time, Energy Nexus or Equilibrium. Yo, veteran, I think it comes down to your companion. If you have a very Equilibrium-friendly companion, like a Diriga, for example, I think Equilibrium is very convenient. But then again, if you use something that is, not as great, then maybe Energy Nexus is the way to go for it too. And Mr. Ollie and Neo, welcome. For weapon builds that use faction mods, is there an alternative option, in my opinion? If you want to have like the optimal damage output, no. But if you just do not like the inconvenience, you could just use another base damage mod or more crit chance mod. Like, it's not that a weapon will never ever deal damage if you don't have a faction mod, right? It's more optimal to go for one. But if you decide to go for literally anything else that makes number go bigger, it does work too. It does work. It doesn't work as well, but it does work too. And as many people will probably also put out in chat, if you subsume Roar, then that is also an alternative, because Roar is universal faction damage. So if you use that, you don't technically need to use a faction damage mod on the weapon. It's a bit like there is no black and white answer to this, because if you go for a damage over time build, for example, you ideally would want to have Roar and a faction damage mod, because for DOT builds, you can never have enough faction damage. But yeah. Moog thinks in the Equilibrium skyrockets in value in tougher missions like EDA or Endless, because the Eximus units are way... Oh yes, that's true. That's 100% true. Like, if you go for anything that has a lot of Eximus units, you might not even need your companion with Equilibrium. That's the reason Roar is the most used subsume. Yeah, I can totally see that. Yeah, Roar is really cool. But like, to put the answer in a relatively simple way, faction damage is not a must. If you want to have faction damage and not mod for it, then go with Roar. Or pray for a Riven that has faction damage against Grenier, Corpus, and Corrupted at the same time. Those things do exist, they're just freaking rare. But yeah, that's basically the short take. Wasn't Nourish the most subsumed? Might be Eiffel, might also been Nourish. Both are pretty darn good. Roar overtook Nourish. Oh, okay. You modded Vauban Prime with Roar, and then the mod Piercing Roar, which works great with Vauban's ability, especially Flechette Orb. Wait, Piercing Roar puts, what, 5 puncture status effects? Was it dealing damage, or what was it? Grendel build when? Oh, Brutus. Let me finish my Wukong build first. Let me finish the Wukong build first. Which other arcane could we use, by the way? Gain 6% weapon critical chance for 10 seconds when using abilities that inflict heat status effect on enemies, maximum 50 times. We could get 300% crit chance from Arcane Hotshot, but then again, meh, because we have Blood Rush. Bellicose, more ability strength. Impetus, not gonna work. Then we're gonna have Arcane Fury for more melee damage if we want to have that. But honestly, I might rather go for Arcane Strike as attack speed, because we do not have attack speed on here. And I think attack speed is nicer. You would go with Fury with your eyes closed, not gonna lie. Wukong's base damage goes nuts with that. Okay. So you're saying you would rather go for Arcane Fury here, something else in the aura, and therefore attack speed on the staff. Is Arcane Crepuscular good on Wisp Fierce Brick? My personal take on this is that it's absolutely fucking OP on Wisp, especially with her Breach Surge. But the good thing is, Fierce Brick, that Mr. Wisp himself is in the chat right now, at least on Twitch. So, Moog, what are we thinking? Is Arcane Crepuscular OP, very OP, or absolutely fucking busted on Wisp? Is it 1, 2, or 3? It's the best arcane on her by far. Yeah, it's really like that. See, the thing is, I mean, probably Fierce Brick by asking the question so specifically about Arcane Crepuscular, right? I don't even know what current builds I have here. Just as an example, right? I think you're very aware of the interaction of Fierce Brick anyway, otherwise you wouldn't have asked specifically about Arcane Crepuscular. But that 3 times final crit damage on Breach Surge is just absolutely ridiculous, right? It goes from a 1.5 times that it has by default to 4.5 times, and then you put Tenacious Bond on, and then you're at 5.7 times. It's just, it is not normal anymore. If you want to have big numbers, that's what you're going to do. And the good thing is, with your 2 out, you're invisible. In the air, you're invisible. So, yeah. Wisp is inwispable. Can you believe Wisp is around the same cost as 6 Aya? I mean, she's been out for quite a while. So I would say that, you know, the plat prices for prime frames do not really have a lot to do with how good the frame is. It's just how long has the frame been farmable and how crazy did people farm that and are now selling it off.
Clone.
To imagine how OP it is on Wisp, you can use that Falcor and no mods or other arcanes on Wisp, and you can level cap cascade with these. Yeah, I mean, I personally don't really do level cap, so I can't tell from my own experience, but, you know, I made a mag build a few months ago, and basically was an invisible mag build with Breach Surge, basically using Shade to be invisible and then only dealing damage through abilities. And there was one scene that I recorded for that video where like I grouped enemies up in the mag bubble and then I cast a Breach Surge. But since I wanted to stay invisible, I couldn't use a weapon to deal damage. And the only thing I did was make 1 bullet jump into the group of enemies, and the 3 damage that deals was enough to create a chain reaction with Breach Surge that nuked the entire bubble in like 1 second. So when you say unmodded Falcor is enough to do level cap, I totally believe that. I totally believe that because, you know, with Breach Surge dealing all the damage that increases itself, the initial spark that starts the chain reaction doesn't really matter how much damage it deals. It's a blender, yeah. It's a blender. Can't mag level cap with Breach Surge with 1 mod? In terms of damage, probably. In terms of survivability, I'm not sure if it's gonna be that convenient to go to level cap on just 1 mod. But yeah, theoretically, I think it should be possible. I would love it if you could just, for the lulz, just spawn in level cap enemies in the Simulacrum. Moog, I think you would also like that, right? Just testing stuff in the Simulacrum at level cap. That would be such a blessing for build crafting. Moog, it's the best glaive in the game. You should use it. Moog, my friend, this is so funny that we're getting to the Falcor right now because I literally produced a YouTube short on the Falcor yesterday. I pre-produced it because I'll be out of town for this weekend, and that Falcor short is going to come online tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central European time. You don't need to convince me that the Falcor is absolutely incredible because I'm going to have a short out on that tomorrow. What a coincidence. I love the Falcor. I used it on my old Nova build. I was very positively surprised by it. Why is Falcor better than Zoris? I think it depends on what type of content you're playing. If you're not having a high enemy density, I think the Falcor is not all that great. But the reason why it is so good is that you have a different mechanic, right? You don't make the standard glaive heavy attack explosion thing. You just throw it and let it bounce. And it will deal a lot of damage with melee influence. And because you're not doing the heavy attack explosion, you are at a 12x combo multiplier, which is great. And with high enemy density, you're just blowing up everything with it. Zora has a better explosion range and crit. Doesn't Falcor technically have the higher blast radius? Like, if you were to let it explode, I mean. If you use the volatile quick return, it will bounce between enemies and influence will proc on every bounce. Then you can do an explosion and just one taps. Yeah, exactly. That's what you do on the Zoris, yes. That's what you do on the Zoris. Well, let's get back to freaking Wukong for a second. Like, the stream is titled Let's Craft Wukong, and I think Wukong had less screen time than other frames in this stream. But hey, you know, I mean, it is what it is. I think with the arcane right here, I think it will depend on which build I use on the staff, right? Because if I go for the blast melee influence staff, then I don't really have the mod space for attack speed. In which case, I would probably go for Arcane Strike. But then again, if you go for something like this here, with Vortex, where you have attack speed, then, yeah, sure. Then I would probably rather go for base damage here. Just slap Influence and build Roar over the 3. Sure, you can do that. Sure, you can do that. I can also just use Wrathful Advance and kick out the crit chance. Warframe ASMR starting now. Alright. So, Praying Hand, as you were saying, we're gonna do the ASMR now. We're gonna look into the build for the staff. And we can go for something like Primed Rage to give him a very, very long, exalted staff. What else will be long, right? Or we're gonna go with the blast melee influence that Moog suggested because it just blows up everything. It's kind of crazy. I like it because it gives Wukong some very, very big and tasty blast procs. Exactly. Praying Hand, that's what you get when you purchase the Warframe ASMR. I hope you enjoyed. Okay, let's go back to normal. Someone grab the remote. Oh man. No, I think MLG commentator starting now. Give me a break, damn. My friends, I am still not sure what I should put in the last 2 slots right here. Maybe Prime Redirection. No, Prime Redirection is kind of ass. We're not going to do that. But if we want to get the most damage possible, we might be able to go for Transient Fortitude, but not if the mouse is locked. Because if the mouse is locked, you're not going to go anywhere in this tournament, and the enemy team might swoop in and go for the kill. So, you're always going to make sure that the mouse is not locked, friends. Why people... That was creepy. Mouse unlocked. And now that the mouse is unlocked again, we might go for more ability strength, but as Moog also said, we could use energy conversion because that snapshot... I want to actually try that. I want to try that for myself. If the Exalted can really snapshot that, let's give it a try. Rooting for call. Health conversion and energy conversion, in my opinion, move Umbral Vitality out of the Omniforma. Yeah. Let me quickly take a look at it. So yeah, energy conversion is on. We can do this. And is there anything with a deep polarity that we can actually... Okay, we could use health conversion. Then we don't need that. We can do this. And then we have 1 free mod slot. So energy conversion is 50% strength, so we're at 250. I shouldn't have put a D polarity in here. So I'm kind of forced to use primed you win the game. Exactly, Rip Ghost, exactly. Primed you win the game. Primed Reddit's favorite mod. I forgot you were streaming Dragonfall. Oh, that's perfectly fine. No stress, right? If you miss a stream, you know, the VOD is always going to be up. No problem. Stalker Killer. I would like to ask if you can, as someone who want to get into Twitch, did you get your name out, and what advice would you... Stalker Killer, I think if you want to start on Twitch as a Twitch streamer, I think the number one person in the Warframe community that you should talk to would be Salmonator, because I'm not necessarily in the position to give advice on how to grow on Twitch, because I have 250,000 YouTube subscribers, right? The reason why there are people watching this stream is because they came from YouTube, and because I built an audience on YouTube, and not because I made this amount of viewers through streaming. So yeah, my personal advice that I can give from personal experience is be on other platforms and make content there, because it will help you bring the people over to Twitch, which is kind of like what every quote unquote Twitch guru tells you. But Salmonator is the big exception, because bro has relatively similar viewing figures than we have here, but he just made that through Twitch alone, which is absolutely fucking crazy to me, right? Everybody is just like, oh, you can't grow on Twitch with just streaming alone. And then Salmonator comes and be like, hey, yo, almost 6,000 followers, 150 to 200 average viewers, and just from streaming alone. So he just somehow got it figured out. And if you have questions about how to be a streamer with streaming alone, then Salmonator is the man to ask. I would say that. Twitch partner in a couple months. Exactly. Right. Exactly. Like, I'm happy that we made it to Twitch partner on this channel in around about a month, of course. But I also can't deny that probably the reason why Twitch accepted me as a partner so early on is just because I have a big YouTube channel, right? There's literally, if you apply for partner, there's literally one tick box that you can check that says, I am already an established creator on a different platform, and then you link your different platform. And 100% sure they just accepted me as partner because of my YouTube channel and not because of the streams themselves. So yeah, big respect to Salmonator for just nailing it on Twitch alone. It's kind of mind blowing, honestly. He did it with pure fast talking. Yes. Sam is like, I think if Twitch were not to work out as a career for Sam, he would just become one of those auction guys in the US. And he would be like, 30, 34, 33, 35, 35, 40, 40, 40. You know what I mean? That would be Sam in a different sort of timeline in reality. That I could imagine that. Give the man a cowboy hat and let him do some cattle auctions or something in Texas. Is there any good way to use his exalted weapon besides slide attack spam for Wukong? I actually didn't get to testing the different combos out yet, but I'm actually pretty happy with the normal one, to be honest. They saw the video viewership in the subs and decided to give me Twitch partner. Yeah, exactly. I think that's what happened. I mean, you still need to have the numbers of like average viewers of 75 and blah, blah and stuff. Like, you still need to have that, right? But I've heard that Twitch usually does not accept people into the partner program after 1 month only, even if they have the numbers. And I think that's where YouTube really made the difference. But I'm not going to complain. Not going to complain. After all, right? After all, the Twitch partner status doesn't give you shit anyway, right? It's not like back in the day where you would earn more money if you're a partner. Like, the only thing that we're getting out of this as a community is I have a check mark next to the name. Hooray. And you all have the option to always adjust stream quality on your end. So that's good. And that's basically it. Can Exalted Meelees use Tennokai? Yes, they can, Cephalon Billy. And we're going to put a Tennokai on him. That's for sure. I'm just thinking, what do I want to use as the last mod here? I think I should go for Flow, right? Don't have Flow just yet.
Fits perfectly. Let's try that. Let's give him a little try. Let's give him some grinnier enemies. Boom, boom, boom. It's Ja, you're trying to get Komi as your second Warframe. That's cool. I mean, you can farm her on Earth, right? Let me just quickly snapshot energy conversion. Boom. So I think Komi is a lot of fun. I personally am not the biggest fan, if I'm going to be honest. Not the biggest fan of her. But I think she's great on the circuit. And if you like the idea of, you know, her as a sort of luck-based frame, I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's a good old thing to go for. Yeah, I think all in all, Wukong is, like, with the blast build, it's pretty good. Melee influence is pretty busted anyway. I do want to make melee vortex work on him. Hopefully I will figure something out. Shameless, you're not sure or not, but the 250% spectral damage in Calendra also affects glaives. Calendra? What's Calendra? But by the way, friends, I'm very sad to very sad to be the bearer of bad news. But it's already 7 again. Our time has come. It's that time again, friends. Let me quickly go here. Unfortunately, we haven't fully finished the build, but I learned a lot from you in this stream already. Exactly, Gillet, isn't it like that? I thought I started the stream just 5 minutes ago. The time passes so fast if you have fun, right? So before we go, quick info. Friday will not be any stream because I'm out of town for the weekend. So we see each other on Monday, but do not worry. I will have pre-produced stuff for you on the weekend. I'm going to give you a Hate in Karlon video with the nice Volt synergy that I really like. I'll also try and see how many more shorts I can pre-produce in the evening today. Not exactly sure, but yeah, we're gonna see each other at the latest on Monday, usual time again for the stream. Thank you all for being here. Before you go, let's also see if we can raid somebody on Twitch, because, you know, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. If you want to participate in the raid, then quickly switch over to Twitch. Let me quickly go to, where are we? Let's see who's currently online in the Warframe space. No, not the official Warframe. We got... What? Mactix is streaming Warframe again? Mactix is streaming Warframe again? So friends, I have a quick question to you. Chat. We could raid Xenosfire, or we could raid Mactix for some lols, because I just saw that he happens to be live on Warframe again. Type in chat if we want to go for Xenosfire with 1 or for Mactix with 2, and then we're gonna see who we're gonna go for. See a lot of 1s, couple 2s. I think so far it looks like most people were probably going with 1. So then we're going to say hi to Xenosfire. Clem. Exactly. And so no. Stop the sound. I don't want to get freaking blah. Don't want to get copyright claimed. Let me quickly do the raid command. Boom! Raid started. So friends, as I said, we will be live again on Monday. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge on Mr. Wukong. I hope I'm gonna get the Wukong build out to you early next week. Let's raid over to Mr. Zeno, and you all have a nice rest of the week. See you very soon.